It is a civilizational crisis. I've said this before. We are at a place, and you can see it from a mile away, we are at a place where great civilizations start to go and new civilizational models begin to gain steam, and there's a place where those two cross paths and they simply cannot coexist. We are there right now.
So shout out to Paleocrat.
Oh yeah, follow Paleocrat. He's all over this.
The woman explained how her boyfriend told her that his high fiber diet means that wiping is completely unnecessary. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing stars. They're worse than the people on the corner talking about the rapture's about to happen. It's an apocalyptic death cult. It's so demonic. I'm starting to think there's some kind of a conspiracy going on around here. Yeah, we are the wolf pack, by the way, guys. I forgot to say that. Ow! It's good to see you. It's good to see you. You guys always get me riled up, wild and zany. It's so eminent. Everything is eminent right now. 12 years, 8 years, we're all doomed. But the great animal uprising of 2020 is happening all around. They're even starting to talk, dude. I've seen movies. They're just at this point pulling diamonds out of their rear end, which would be a fascinating ability, by the way. I heard it's all about the pressure. It's gonna happen, guys. We're gonna push, and we're gonna push hard, because that is what is always done. That is what America does, which is why you can see all that destruction. And what happens, by the way? Cities get burned, windows get smashed, people get pulled out of their cars, individuals have been shot, individuals have been beat bloody on the streets, and then what ends up happening? White supremacy is the big problem in America. What? No! No, no, no! It's over, man. It is over, son. I think they're lying to us. And you know how we know this? Because they buy into everything. They spread fake news like crazy. Is this real, guys? 50-50. There are people out there that have physiques like that. You see them oftentimes in parking garages like valet drivers and stuff. If you want to be an ignoramus and try to do the fisticuffs, hit the road, Jack and Jacqueline and Karen. Oh, you're not based, dude. You're based in Pato land, as in like located. Let's look him up on Google real quick. Oh, he's on 666 Pato Street. We're just gonna have fun. There's no serious stuff going on here. Oh, they're mukbang spiders. Why? Oh, holy crap. No. No, no, no. Do not flaunt that. That is not something to be proud of. There's been a big price tag for the sins that we've committed as a nation. And we've committed some of the most grotesque sins in the history of the world. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's this dude. He's kind of a beta cock, Play-Doh rolling, bubble blowing kind of guy. Says, you better take off that effing shirt, cause it offends women. What an ignorant way of looking at the world. You're gonna be tossed to and fro by every whim and fancy of a culture that hates you. This dude thinks it's offensive to women that I don't walk around with my shirt off. It's easy to say how great we are, and I believe that we're truly great. On the other hand, we got Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They have no connection with the past, other than to simply remind the past always how much they hate it, and to dance on the graves of the democracy dead. The rabbits are now dressing up as Nicolas Cage. Plastic surgery, I bet, probably from that stinking cat. And you're like, you don't do plastic surgery. And he says, look at the plastic surgery I did for the rabbit. We need to repent. We need to take a knee for Jesus. Paleocrat's using that argument again. Come on, son.
That's good, wholesome American stuff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
Good morning. I almost did not have a good morning. Almost did not have a good morning, guys. And I'm sorry that we're so late, but the truth is, I had a lot of things I had to work on. That's just the truth. Had a lot of things because at the top of the hour, both at 11 and noon, we are going to have a very special thing happen. We are going to have a guest, an on-the-scene reporter in Michigan at the protest where they're talking about the election results and stuff like that. There's a protest going on, a bunch of people outside monitoring the situation, and we've got someone on the ground there. It's going to be amazing. So you're not going to want to miss that. It's top of the hour. Remember, 11 o'clock. And I had to organize it. I had to put it together. And I ended up making it a little bit easier on myself. I had to do some fancy footwork real quickly, in real time. I'm a pro, right? I'm a pro. I should be able to do this. I should have known some of this stuff a long time ago. But man, it is good to be with you. It is Tuesday morning, December 1st. Holy cow. Isn't it weird, guys? Does it feel like we've lost a bunch of months, almost like we had some kind of crazy dystopian universe that blurred our vision and concept of time? Like our internal time clock is like, what? I thought it was, June. That it was June. It's December. You're getting old this fast. I didn't even think about that, but boy, oh boy. And so, boy, it's December 1st already. I want to thank all of you who are tuned in right now. I want to thank each and every one of you who are tuned in. I want to encourage you, if you are watching this right now, and if you like the show, make sure to give the old up thumb, okay? I wish they had like 2 thumbs up. Wish they had that, but the thing is, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to comment, right? Let us know that you're there because, check this out. We have a comment section. And that's a cool little, did you guys catch that? Real quick, let me see if I can, let me get this thing off so that I don't mess it up. Watch this. Watch the transition and check out the way the transition takes place. Watch real close. Zoinks. Zoinks. My son and I, we were playing around with it, and I normally just have that kind of hard change, right? Just from one scene to the next. They have all different techniques and stuff, and I don't know what that one's called. I'm not entirely sure, except it's awesome. And so I'm really excited about that. But we have a comment section here. And this is the master comment section. This has comments from all the different streams that this show is broadcasting over simultaneously. So we're on, I don't know if we're on 20. We're actually, right now, we're kind of missing a big one. There's some things going on. And so we're kind of missing, in fact, our largest one. We're kind of not there right now. Nothing that we did, right? Nothing. There's no problem with the network or anything like that. But for the next couple days, you're going to have to find it on different channels. Thankfully, we're on like 20. But if you're on Facebook or you're on Twitch or you're on DLive or Periscope or YouTube, doesn't matter. If you comment, I can see it right here. And as a case in point, we do this every day because there are some people that really get confused by it. And they just have no idea what I'm able to see. So they have no idea what I'm able to see. So right here, you've got people, for example, you've got Gemma Paris. She says, sharing this. Very grateful, by the way, Gemma. Super grateful for that. I promised to give it my berry vest. Promise to do that. Cherie on YouTube says, good morning. You get to watch the whole show today. Yes, you do. I am happy about that. You always make me happy, Cherie. Anytime I see you, you're like the you're a diva. Okay, you're one of the Paleocrat Diary divas. It's what you are. You're here with Ailey and Bethany and others. So there are many, right? We'll say Shirley, Kathy, Barbara. There's a bunch of these individuals. They're regulars. You start to know. I start to feel like, one of those waiters at a diner that chewing the gum and it's like, hey, how's it going this morning? And you know the people. You know the folks. They like to drink their coffee in the morning with you. And speaking of someone who likes to join us, CF, it's good to meet you, or good to see you. I'd like to meet you. I would like to meet you, man. I think it'd be a really good time. I think we'd have a blast. So it's good to see you, though, man. Good morning to you. I hope you have an amazing day. And I hope that this contributes. I hope it contributes to the amazing day, okay? Cherie says, this reality or the so-called pandemic is why I don't read dystopian stuff. It's one of, and that's the bummer a little bit, isn't it? I mean, dystopian literature and dystopian movies, it's like its own thing. It's its own thing. And so, it's something I enjoy watching dystopian stuff. I enjoy watching movies like that. I enjoy reading books like that. But then when you're living through it, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't know if that's really what I think should be going on. I don't know if I want to read that. I'm already getting it all around me all the time. And then they're like, oh, well, you can go and also read it in the news. And you're like, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I'm pretty much done with that. All right, guys, we got to move on. We got to crank this stuff out quick because there's so many things to talk about. There's so many things. And remember, if you have any stories that you would like to share, make sure to send them over to Paleocrat Diaries at gmail.com. And of course, you can check out paleocratdiaries.com, where you can become a subscriber at the bottom of the page. You can read all of the blogs and videos and everything else, pictures, see the pictures that we post. And we even posted recently a Help Wanted ad talking about the different aspects of the show. If you would like to be a contributor, if you'd like to be a volunteer, whatever you'd like to do. So, I mean, it's a wide range of things, and some of you are already doing it, just being social media amplifiers, going out and sharing the podcast with your friends. We have people who do that every single day, and so we're grateful for each and every one. But if you're somebody who writes, and it could be a wide range of things, as long as it's within the wheelhouse of the show, if you have a vlog, if you have a YouTube channel, whatever it is, make sure to connect with us. We'd love to connect with you. And if we are harmonious and everything is in balance and the stars are aligned, we've done our discernment, you may be part of the group. And that would be a really great time. And that would also include having your articles and videos and clips like that shown on the show. And so it's one of the perks. It's a way to use your gifts and talents in a way with a group that's actually going to respect your gifts and talents, to maximize it, as well as respecting your time, right? Because we don't want to be like a lot of the douchebag shows that, I mean, they are. I'm sorry to use that word, but it is true, okay? It is true. I know too many of them. That they get people on and they just treat them like crap. We shall not do that to you. You have my word. All righty, guys. Speaking of getting to the word here, Mom sells son's game console with rampant rabbit accidentally in the box. Okay. How do you have a rampant rabbit accidentally in the box? Or is that a game? What is that? Are they talking about a rampant rabbit? I have not read this. Okay. I'm coming into it blind. Dominic Smithers wrote it. It's over at Lad Bible. Oh man, I don't like that. The way I'm situated in that circle, man. What the heck is up with that? Got a big old shadow on my face. Yeah, yeah. You guys need to be able to see my face, man. You need to be able to see my face. Alrighty. Okay, so here's this lady here. And it's not a stock image. So, I mean, I'm assuming that this is actually the mom. Okay, here we go. A mom who sold her son's old game console was horrified when she accidentally gave away a rampant rabbit as well. Sarah Fago from Murfield, West Yorkshire, says she needed a bit of extra money for Christmas. And while clearing out her kid's bedroom, came across their Sega Mega Drive. Now, look, would this make you mad, guys? Would this, if you, imagine being the kid. I mean, I guess we can imagine being on both sides of that, okay? Somebody's on both sides of this. You can say, well, if you're the mom or you're the dad, I know what it feels like. I've gone into my kid's room and I'm like, thinking to myself, man, I'm kind of low on some money. I think I'm just going to sell my kids junk. And it's like, if it's on the floor, under the bed, they probably don't care. They wouldn't even know it's gone, right? I'm over there, hawking it at the used goods store. I'm like going in there saying, hey man, how much you gonna give me for this? And the guy's like, I don't know. That show is a couple years old. You're giving me a Power Ranger toy. I'll give you like $1. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm trying to pay bills, dude. This is the White Ranger. It's the White Ranger. He's like, if it was the Green Ranger, I mean, I'd give you maybe 3. I'd be like, oh, come on. Oh, come on, man. But what would when you were a kid, did your parents ever do that to you? Did your parents ever sit there and come into your room and take junk and you didn't notice? Or maybe you did. What's the worst thing? Maybe that's the way to frame it. What is the worst thing that you have done to your kids in order to get money? And look, if you say, I sold my kid, whatever. No, I'm not going to say that. But if you say, hey, look, I took a toy you know, or we did a garage sale and I secretly took a bunch of stuff that I thought they should throw away, you know, post it in the comments. We'll make sure to read that. Or if you were a kid, and when you were a kid, if your parents ended up taking stuff and you found out about it, maybe even years later, and it kept you up at night, sleep, you know, crying in your sleep. You go to visit your parents, man, and it's like Ralphie, right, from the Christmas Story, where he shows up and he's all blind from the soap poisoning. You show up, and they're like, what's going on with you? And you're like all crying years later, and your eyes are puffy, you can't see, and you're like, oh, it's the toy that you made me sell at the garage sale. I do that with the He-Man toys my parents made me get rid of. I'll never forgive them. I will never forgive you. I know my mom watches the show too. I'm never gonna forgive you, Mommy. Never. Never, never, never. Oh, I like those He-Man toys, man. I'm choking up right now thinking about it. So, okay, so Sarah Fago, I feel badly, you know, this lady. She's like, you know, I've been in her shoes before, kind of thing. But I don't know about a Sega Mega Drive, man. After a couple sales fell through on Facebook, gamer Shane Tudden got in touch and bought it for 25 pounds, sending his mate James Bishop to pick it up. However, the next day, a hungover Sarah, so she was, she was drunk. She's like, yeah, you know, I need some money. Oh, for what? Some booze? Man, this is bad, guys. Woke up to a message from James thanking her for the console, but informing her that there was a rabbit jumping about in a sock in the box. What? How? That's impossible. It's impossible, dude. It's scientifically verified. Rabbits do not jump around in socks. They don't do it. They don't do it. There's scientific studies to prove this. The mom of three then received a photo of a... Oh, okay, yeah, that's okay. It's not... That's very inappropriate. See, this is why you gotta read some things. There was something, let's suffice it to say, there was something in the box. There was something in the sock that was not very, you know, adult friendly. I mean, I'm so sorry. Well, no, it is not adult friendly. Oh, I'm skipping right past that picture. Oh my gosh. It's not children friendly, but it's also, to be very frank with you, it is not adult friendly. That is not something you want to do. And dude, isn't that sexual harassment? And did I just sexually harass my own audience? What? Don't send me stuff like this. We got to do better about vetting, man. You know, we got to do better. Who's the person? Ailey, right now, I need to know who's the person that vetted this. Send it down on a piece of paper. I don't want to out them publicly. But they got to go. They got to get out of here. Oh. That's so bad. There was something naughty in the sock. Let's just put it that way. Something naughty in the sock, and it was doing this kind of thing. And it's like, oh, ha, ha, ha. She's obviously not doing very good in her life. There's a lot of things that are not going very well for her. She's hawking her kids' stuff behind their back. She's super drunk, buying booze, maybe some drugs with the money, and then laughing. Getting all these, you know, sexual harassment texts and then laughing it off and then going and talking to the media about, oh, hey, you won't even believe what happened to me. Well, yeah, you know, some things are unbelievable. I don't know. What do you want, lady? You want a cookie or something? You want a blue ribbon? What do you want? John Farrell. Don't worry, guys. 2021 will be better. False information reviewed by independent fact checkers. See why. Dude, Meme Masters has some pretty good stuff. I follow them over on Telegram. Dude, is 2021 going to be better, guys? Is 2021 going to be better? What do you guys think? Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I hope it gets better. Because it can't get much worse, to be quite frank with you. Yeah. In the comments real quick, Barbara says, hello from Wisconsin. Hello to you. Is it a stereotype that everyone in Wisconsin is absolutely fanatical about cheese? I've been wondering this my whole life. I'm like, dude, is it really true, guys? Is it really true? You know, kind of like every person in France is, you know, a wine bibber. You know, is that true too? I mean, you know, some people in our French audience, I hope you're not taking offense at that. I mean, some stereotypes, though. Some stereotypes are pretty legit. Some of them. All right. ZF says, no kidding. It's a little bit heavy at this point. Talking about, life. Good morning, Wolfpack from Brian. Good morning, Wolfpack. Taking this coffee straight to the dome and taking a knee for Jesus. That's what we do here, bro. That's what we do here, man. Coffee to the dome, take the knee for Jesus. That's the way we roll. It's as simple as that, man. It's as simple as that. And you know, I'm really glad actually to see that you are back on the coffee. I was getting worried with all the slurm you were drinking. He's like, I'm raising my big glass of some slurm. Woo! Like, dang, son, you're going to crash in like an hour. You're going to be just, his eyes, man, are just going to be bugging out. He's going to be hyperventilating. And then he's going to fall asleep. He's going to have a good night's sleep, though. All right, here. Oh, my gosh. Let's see. Yeah, oh, in the comments, someone said, let me guess, somebody's TikToking it up. You know, I thought so, too. In fact, let's see. I think we're down far enough that we can make sure that we're down below this. I don't know how, you know, people even found out about this. I don't know how, like what's going on with that? You know, was it TikToking? Was it Facebook? What was this? I don't know. I mean, she's apparently, you know, she had a GoFundMe. Oh, yeah. She joked that she should set up a GoFundMe page for a replacement. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we're not looking at that. We're not looking at that. So it doesn't say. I'm starting to wonder, man. I'm starting to wonder a little bit about the veracity of the story. So not only might it be something that is, you know, very not family friendly. It's not, you know, Little House on the Prairie kind of thing happening there. And at the same time, it might be totally fake. Ailey, I need to know for real, no joke. You need to tell me who sent that story. Where do they find it? Just write the name down on a piece of paper. I'll fire him right on air. Assuming it's a him. I don't want to throw the ladies under the bus. If I have to, I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to do it. You're fired. Oh, man. Oh, buddy. Oh, yeah, look at this. Okay. According to UPI, odd news. Leopard wanders into girls' hostel in India. What? What the heck, dude? What? Oh, it hides under the couch. Okay. Yeah, oh, how would you guys feel about that? You walk in, you're walking around, you know, you go to a hotel, you're walking around, having a decent time, and all of a sudden you look and you're eating some food. Maybe you're at the dining area, and you look over, and you see out in the main area there by the check-in desk, you see a leopard. You see a stinking leopard under there, and he's just looking at you. And he's doing the hissy crap. What would you do, man? What would you do, son? Oh my gosh, man. This thing's actually bothering me. Hold on. I gotta go over here. I'm going over here to this thing. There we go. That was bothering me, man. That circle. For some reason, I was like really enlarged in there. Like, what's up with that, dude? What's up with that? So I'm gonna put it on this for just a little bit, man, so I'm not getting irritated. You know, I don't know what's worse, man, being irritated by that little circle on the screen and having my head all like trying to center constantly, or I don't know, getting trolled by my own folks, or I don't know, the idea of seeing a stinking leopard in a hotel. What is this world coming to, guys? What is the world coming to? I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what to do anymore. Wildlife officials and zookeepers responded to the hostel in India to capture a leopard that wandered into the building and crawled under a sofa. It just wandered in. You know, it probably went in and realized as it was there, right? It probably gone into a bunch of other places around town. And all the other places said, we don't serve your kind, man. We don't serve your kind. And they're like, he's like, but I got the money. And they're like, oh, you do? And he's like, yes. All the while, the truth is, no, the leopard did not have the money. He was lying. He was trying to pull a Hunter S. Thompson. He was trying to pull a Hunter S. Thompson going in and committing massive felonies and then booking it, man. Probably going to get the best room service, too. Can you imagine all of the different kinds of things that leopard would order, right? On everybody else's dime, completely lying through his teeth, his fangs. This is sometimes the dumbest show. Oh, wow. And so he goes to this place. The leopard goes, and he realizes, he doesn't have money, and he's tried this stunt before. And so he's waiting for a perfect opportunity, maybe for the guy behind the counter to check out for the day and to be replaced by the second shift person. That's probably, in all likelihood, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities as to why the leopard was even there, but in my opinion, I think that's the most legit one. I think it's very legit, dude. Bora and the hostel's 15 residents barricaded themselves in a room. Well, look, what would you do in seriousness? In seriousness, what the heck would you do, dude? What would you do, man? If you were sitting there and, a leopard shows up, would you barricade yourself? I mean, do you really have to? Were they like putting, the sofas in front of the door? Oh, no! I guess just in case the leopard has figured out how to open the door. I've seen stuff like that before. Maybe not with leopards, but their relatives. I've seen it with their relatives, and they probably are, texting each other and junk. So they're teaching each other, man. They're teaching each other all sorts of terrible things. But apparently they got that bugger out, man. They got that bugger out. All right, scrolling. Why am I not studying? Scrolling with regret. Scrolling with more regret. Yeah. Oh, man. How true is this? I've decided I'm done. Major time resolved, guys. And I'm being serious about this, man. This is funny, but at the same time, this is real bad. And this is totally true. Okay, this is something that people just struggle with across the board. They do, they struggle. And so the thing is I thought about it, and I've thought about it a lot, and in fact, I've made some resolutions before about kind of how to discipline myself and what I want to do. And I finally had it. In fact, today I'm going through and I'm just erasing app after app, unless the app is something to record audio, to record video, or to take pictures with, or something that has like actual legit utility that may in fact the utility be exclusive to phones. So even maps. I'm not even joking about this. I'm half tempted to go and buy a map at the store and say, look, I'm going to go and buy an atlas. I used to have one in my car. I got lost a couple times with an atlas. It's true. I maybe throughout my entire life of getting lost using atlases, because I've driven all over the place. I've been in almost every state within the contiguous United States. I've been to almost every single one. Okay, I think I have not been to like Florida, Louisiana, and then the whole United States. I've not been to Alaska or Hawaii, but as far as I know, I don't know if I've ever been to Alabama. Which is kind of weird. I'd always love to, I'd love to go down to Alabama. I think it'd be really great. I've been to Arkansas, Missouri. And so there are states that I, kind of regret having ever driven through. States like, Oklahoma. It's true, man. It's boring, man. It's really boring, guys. I'm so sorry to tell you. So, Oklahoma, Nebraska is kind of like, bleh, I'm sorry if any of you are Cornhuskers. I love the team, man. I do. I love the team. But Nebraska, I don't know, man. Maybe I've seen the wrong places. And New Jersey. I lived in New Jersey, but it is one of those states that, you kind of regret a little bit. And you're like, I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. New Jersey's kind of hit. But I've been, through a whole bunch of them, but I got lost a couple times. And I think if I added it all up, I probably have lost, being lost and going back, if you add both of those into the equation to get back on track, probably 5 hours of my entire life. And I've traveled, as I said, all over the place. And probably 5 hours, maximum 5 hours. And I thought, I lose more than that aimlessly going through my phone and ridiculous crap throughout, I don't know, 2 days time, 2 or 3 days time, sitting there scrolling over stupid junk. That's as much time as I've lost in all those years that I used an atlas. And part of the reason why I've, told myself, oh no, you're fine, your phone's perfectly fine, no big deal, blah, blah, blah. It always comes down to, well, it's got GPS on it. There's a price tag to that, man. It's a free app, but it's going to kind of, give you this excuse to keep wasting your life. And that's just one of the many excuses people make. And so, I don't know. I've scrolled with regret. What's the latest you guys have ever scrolled, by the way? What's the latest you guys have ever scrolled where you're on the phone? There's no real important reason. Nothing to do with the job. Nothing to do with any of that. But you've been scrolling, okay? And you're like, oh, man, this is really great. I'm up at 4 a.m. scrolling through nonsense. 4:30 in the morning. Have you ever seen the sun come up and you look at your phone and you're like, what did I just do? What did I just download into my brain? What did I just download into my brain? Oh, this is unbelievable. I'm hoping here that within the next minute or so, we are going to have a guest on the show. In fact, it's going to be the first guest that we've ever had. The first guest that we have ever had. And I'm going to need to make sure, I may need to switch something up during the stream. I'm hoping that it will work perfectly fine. But we have somebody at the top of the hour that's going to be that's going to be calling in to give us an update. Okay, to give us an update as to what's going on. What is happening in the world up there in Lansing, because there is a whole bunch of people protesting the happenings and things going on that are going on pertaining to the election, and the refusal, by the way, we mentioned this yesterday, the refusal of the leaders in the Michigan GOP to afford Rudy Giuliani and President Trump and his legal team any time. And so she's going to be calling in and talking about that. So I got to keep my eye on that a little bit. Got to keep my eye on that. But until she calls, we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and move on. Oh, how is this a funny one? It looks like it's Twitter. Let's see. Oh, dang. Okay. Here we are. Core to the New York Times mission. We will scrutinize the incoming administration just as thoroughly as we... Okay. Now I know why it's tucked into the funny. Now I know that's why. Are you serious? Are you serious, Cliff? Cliff Levy? Dude, you're lying through your teeth, man. You're lying through your teeth. The idea that that's even remotely true is the biggest joke in the universe. What is wrong? Oh yeah, man, it's really central to us. We have a long history. We are just as hardcore against every administration as we were against Donald Trump. There are scientific studies for real done on you guys to sit there and say, oh, what was the ratio of positive versus negative news? You guys suck. You did very, very, very badly. You're naughty people. You are bad journalists. You are not remotely. Oh, yeah, look at this. Did you find out who sent that? No. You didn't find out? You're letting me down? Is it you? I'm starting to be suspicious. Ailey came down and brought me down something to drink here. And I asked her if she found out who gave me that unvetted article. And she goes, no. I'm like, what? I'm suspicious, guys. I'm suspicious. We actually played, oh boy, what is it called? We played, is it About Us, Among Us? What is it? Is it Among Us? Is that the name of the game? We didn't play the video game, okay? Because there's a video game of this. But we had kind of this version of it at the house with the kids last night, and you're cleaning up the house, and it's a fun way to clean up and stuff. And so we cleaned up, and that was really great. And so the so it was super great, super fun. And the thing is that we had to see who the intruder was, or the imposter. And the imposter is supposed to end up, knocking somebody off, and then you got to guess who this person is, and all that stuff. And so the thing is you have to be suspicious. I'm sorry for the confusion. I'm actually I got a text from the person who's coming on. I got to play a little video here in a minute. So the thing is that you're suspicious. And we're all looking at each other. We're all looking at each other wondering, kind of like, what's going on, man? Are you rigging this? How are you doing this, man? What's going on with you? And I'm kind of feeling that way right now about everyone in my staff. Everybody, all of them, dude. Oh, man. And I hope I'm not peeking, man. I have a feeling I've been peeking this whole time. Okay, all right, guys. What we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play a video. Let's see. I've got a couple different ones on here, actually. I've got a couple different ones. You know what? I'll just do the Sacred Heart one, okay? We're just going to play the Sacred Heart one to let you know why I do the show. And while I'm doing that behind the scenes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send the invite link to my friend. And that way she can come on the show and everything will be perfectly fine. Because apparently she needs it sent to her cell phone. There we go. There we go. So I sent it. So we're going to have her. In fact, we as soon as if she pops on here right now. Oh, nope. I'll go ahead and play this video, man. I don't want to end up doing this behind the scenes. So we're going to go ahead and play it. I think it's about 2 minutes. We'll go ahead and play that right now. So this is why I do the show, guys. I do the show 100% of everything goes to my kids' education. Okay? So it goes to my kids' education, 100%, Sacred Heart Academy. And this video not only shows what they do and the core mission, right? What's at the heart of their education, but it really goes to show what's the heart of this program here, right? You may think, oh, he's being goofy, or oh, he's talking, going crazy and doing his wild man thing with hair on fire and all that stuff, growling into a mic. But at the heart of it all is what you're about to see. And I hope that it's true equally of you throughout the day, whether you're working, whether you're at home, no matter what you're doing today, whether you're, in your role as a parent, as an employee, as an owner and manager, as a husband, wife, no matter what it is, that this equally applies to you. So here's the video, and I hope you enjoy.
You see me in my uniform, and you think I'm going to school.
You think I'm studying, doing my homework, practicing my Latin.
You're not completely wrong. The truth is this. What looks like an academy is in fact where I am learning to dig deep.
To search with an attentive heart what all men seek, but few can name.
Wisdom, knowledge, it's the fountain of life and holiness. A sacred temple, the very house of God and gate of heaven.
What I seek, what I have learned to desire, is the desire of the everlasting hills. I am looking to lose myself in the Sacred Heart of Jesus.
It may look like I'm going to school, but in truth, I am learning to chase after my Savior, the King and center of all hearts.
And I will not rest
until I take hold of him,
who has already taken hold of me.
We will find a way.
And here it is. I hope today you give it everything you got, you guys. Everything. Don't hold anything back. Be the best you can be in every single way. Build on your strengths and decrease your weaknesses. Because this is a huge mission that we're on. What an amazing ride. We are so blessed, in fact, to be alive. And that's why we rejoice and we're glad in it. And by the way, you can tell I'm very, very distracted. I'm very distracted, man. I get back on the circle screen and I'm even there the entire time. And I'm looking down at my phone and I'm texting. I'm doing all that stuff trying to make sure that I can get that my friend into the Zoom, because apparently she's inside the building, says we have 200 people outside on the sidewalk freezing their buns off. Pat Colbeck has been testifying for probably 40 minutes now, and I can be on standby to go live if you send a new Zoom link, because come to find out, and she's going to have to actually do that very, very soon. She's going to have to do that very, very, very soon, because apparently if I have it turn off for even a short period of time, then what, or for 40 minutes, right? If it's inactive for 40 minutes, then it automatically stops. Automatically. And so, in fact, this is what I'm going to do right here. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can do a chat and say, hey, how is everybody? I don't want it to go down. How is everyone? I don't want it to turn off, man, because then I got to send a brand new link. And I don't want to have to do that either, because that would be really terrible. And this is all brand new. So let me see if I can go ahead and record this. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do the recording, and then I'm going to go ahead and do stop recording. And at least then I can say that I've done something. I was active. Okay. Hoping that it works. This is the first time we've ever done this. It's the first time we've ever done it. And so we're trying to communicate, and it's got to be hard for her because she's surrounded by tons of people, right? And she's not entirely glued to her phone. She's doing us a really great service by being an on-the-ground reporter in this particular situation. And so we're really grateful for that. We're going to go ahead. I'm hoping, man. I am hoping that it does not, that it doesn't turn off, man. Pray for me, guys. Pray for me, because otherwise we're going to have to do something different with this. And that's going to be a real letdown. It's going to be a real letdown. I want to try this for a number of cool reasons. Number one, it's somebody who's a big fan of the show. In fact, we quoted a very complimentary post from her yesterday about the show and about yours truly, right? And how much she appreciates the show and appreciates the things that I do, and the mission that I have and the heart that I have in what I do. And so we're going to go ahead. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to call her right now. I'm just going to call her live right now. We're going to see if this, let's see, let's get her on speaker. Oh, I don't have to do that. Hold on. Admit. I'm admitting her into the room. Okay, she's here, guys. She is here. Hold on. Hold on a second. I got you. You can't hear me. You can't hear me? Okay, hold on. Let's see. Yeah.
I need headphones. I can't even hear you.
You can't hear me at all?
Let me put you over here.
Okay. Well, look.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now. Okay. So, Maya Han. It was my bad. This is
it's so loud here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
It's so loud. It's so hard to hear.
Yep.
But I am going to go ahead and tell you what we're doing here. I'm going to show you what is going on in the front of the Senate House right now. I'm getting hugs. We have the Honorable Dr. Christina Parks is in the house. She just gave a nice speech out front. We've got some people marching around. This is not the front. We had to go around to the side to try to get a little bit more quiet there. So I'm going to take you over to where
I know that guy.
So we went inside. We watched Pat Colbeck. He's been testifying for about 45 minutes now. So Pat Colbeck is a true hero.
Yeah.
And has been sharing what he witnessed on election night and the days that follow. And he's been literally all over the country trying to tell everyone what happened in Detroit. Okay, I'm going to turn this around. We're out front here. People are kind of going in and out because it's so cold. We're hanging out on the streets.
Yeah. It looks like a decent crowd.
Well, we have had quite a few people are coming in and out. Like I said, they've got an overflow room inside the Capitol or right across the street from the Capitol. And it is cold out here, Jeremiah.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you know what temperature? What temperature is it?
Oh my gosh, it's probably like 27 out here. It's cold. It's cold.
Yeah, it's very cold. It's below freezing. Hi.
This is
Hi.
Cindy Holland.
Yes.
She's one of our grassroots patriot leaders.
Yes.
And Cindy, do you want to tell us what's going on out here?
So what we're doing out here is showing support for the people, first of all, who came here to give witness testimony. We're outside doing our protest because we want the legislature to not just hear these people's testimony, but we want them to take action based on their testimony. These are honest, decent people who went to the TCF Center to do a service for our country, and they were harassed, They were shoved out of the building. They weren't allowed to do the duties that they were sent there to do, and which is illegal. And based on that alone, we weren't given equal representation during the election process, because they're supposed to be for every one Democrat, one Republican. The problem is when they were there, the Republicans were being carted out for simply asking to challenge a ballot. Once they were removed, they're supposed to replace a Republican with a Republican, but they were not doing that. So what we wound up with was about 6-1 Democrat Republican. And so we're here because we don't want them just to hear this testimony. We want them to take action.
Yes.
We want them, if it comes down to it, our legislature has the authority and the discretion per the Constitution to invoke the 12th Amendment and send Republican electors to re-elect President Trump, because this election was a fraud.
Yes.
There's a lot of evidence to prove that. And once they hear it, I expect them to react accordingly.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Cindy. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. And hey, by the way, just you know, a lot of our listeners are Roman Catholic, and behind you there are some sisters. And so, can you show their sign? Look at that, guys.
Sisters.
Yes. Yes. God bless you.
Here on a Catholic radio show right now, live. Do you guys want to be interviewed? Do you have anything you want to say? God bless America.
Yes, God bless America. They're good. Can you? Yeah. All right. I'd like to be able to meet up and speak with them sometime. Look at that. Election integrity matters. I'm so happy to see them. I am so happy to see them out there. They were at the rally too. Yep. So, all righty.
All right, so I have more people. You want to talk to some more people here?
Yeah, we can do a couple more minutes of this. This is really cool.
Okay.
And you can hear me. You can hear me okay?
I can hear you now without the screaming. So
Yeah. Well, there was a megaphone
we're
too.
nicely quiet right now.
There was a guy with a bullhorn.
this is,
And look at this
Dr.
guy. Look at this guy, Riff Raff. Riff Raff. Get him out of here.
Nothing but Riff Raff.
Riff Raff. Nothing but trouble, man. Yeah. You got to introduce yourself, man, to the people on the show.
Awesome. Well, my name's Dr. Michael. I am from Grand Rapids, and I'm out here as a patriot to stand up for our rights and our freedoms and really not take this sitting down. There's too much misinformation out there, and we need to come together as a group. Absolutely.
Yes. And we need to come together, me and you. We need to talk about some memes, bro.
Oh, memeology. I'm excited.
Big time.
Like
We're going to do it.
Right now.
We're going to do it. Yeah. All right, bro. Yeah, it's good seeing you, man. Yep.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, let me give you guys a peek of what's going on inside and like where we're at here. So I'm gonna turn this around.
And look at that, guys. Yeah.
Gathering here, and right outside these windows, we are standing, and it's nice because where we all are, right in here is where they are, literally right against the glass is where the testifying is happening. So I don't know if you guys
we can hear
gotten a chance to listen in on any of that, but it was nice to see Pat Colbeck doing his testimonies for the length of time that he had. And I just got official word that because of the pressure from all of us patriots emailing and calling and inundating the committee, that they are bringing Rudy Giuliani.
Oh. Yeah, come on, girl. Come on. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Yes. Oh.
Yes.
Yes. And you know what? That's
so the pressure works, guys. The pressure works. We got to keep laying it on them. We cannot let our legislators get away with skirting.
Yeah, we're gonna go watch these sellouts.
So yeah, happy to spread that good news, guys.
Yes.
Thank you. And I'll tune back in and let you know how things are going in an hour, okay?
Okay, yeah, we'll touch base at right around noon. Okay, so just I'm gonna hope it's the same channel. And again, I apologize. It's on my end. This is not Maya's fault. She was on the money. She's really good at what she's doing, and I'm scrambling around. I'm trying to get it right, and I'm like, oh no. So I'm really grateful, Maya, that you're doing this. It's been awesome, not only to get to know you, to meet you, to get to know you, to see the amazing work that you do, but when you offer, you're like, look, I can be an on the ground person for you. I thought, this lady is amazing. You're like Wonder Woman, okay? You're doing a great job. And so we love you here. We love you big time. And we're really grateful that you're out there.
We love you too.
Yes.
My Paleocrat.
Yeah. So, all right, we will.
Super spreader.
Yeah, information super spreader. Yeah. So we will. We'll talk to you around noon. Okay.
All right.
All right. God bless. Guys. Yes.
You too.
Nope. Hold on. I do this every time, man. What the heck? Here we go. Every time. I got to get better at this, guys. I got to get better at this. I'm a pro. And by the way, what do you think about that? By the way, what do you think about that? I'll find out right now. Let's go to the comments section. Let's go to the comments, man. Let's go to the comments. Let's see. Talking about the woman. Okay, talking about the mom. Right. This is going back into the funny stories a little bit earlier. But one of the comments says that the mom who sold the kid Sega thing and the guy who sent her a very inappropriate rabbit in a sock was not a rabbit. And I don't even encourage you to go look at the article. Don't even do it. Don't even do it, man. But he says, strikes me that the person shameless enough to publicize such activities is shameless enough to have an OnlyFans page. Probably. Does she have an OnlyFans page? Is that what's really going on there? Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, okay. In the comments, I got rid of Facebook except Messenger. I'm no longer addicted to social media. How long ago, by the way? How long ago was it that you got rid of your social media? As a testimonial to other people, because that can be really tough. I mean, I made it so that it was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and remove a couple things from, my phone, or I'm going to keep my phone off. Like, this is a better example where I say I'm going to keep my phone downstairs. So I don't bring it up to bed with me at night. I keep it downstairs. And I remember when I first started doing that, when I woke up in the morning, the first thing in my mind, right away, was where's my phone? And I even looked where I normally put it. And then when I realized I didn't have it, I kind of laid there for a little while. And I bet you within the first 5 minutes of being awake, I thought about it probably 3 different times. I don't know what the triggers were, or if it's just the way that the mind's just operating. But the trigger is you're awake. You're awake, and all day long it's been burned into the brain. That's what you do. That's what you do. And so, it took a while for me to get to that place where I'm like, yeah, I don't even think about it. And there are pros and cons to it. And I actually believe this, okay? I think that if a new technology comes and that new technology becomes so pervasive that it replaces old technology, right? And so it doesn't like ride alongside of it. You still have ovens and you still have, microwaves. So like people can say, well, it's limited utility, right? Or whatever. So they say, well, something's good for this, but when I'm at home, I use that or whatever. But phones became something that we brought everywhere. And when we did that, and we decided we're just going to take them all over the place, when we did that, a lot of people just stopped using their home phones. But then after years, as we've said, Marshall McLuhan's medium is the message lesson, right? That the watchdog of the mind was distracted and the burglar came in and completely was annihilating everything that we were accustomed to. And by the time that we woke up to it and started to even really think about it at all, it had already consumed a lot of our behaviors. Some of them may be irreversible. In fact, in his argument, it would be. But one of the things that ended up going the way of the dinosaur for many people was a home phone. Home phones were just, the idea of plugging something into a wall, man. Remember the little coil cable they used to have? Remember them buggers? You'd have to talk in front of everybody and try to pull it around the corner. You're like, you're stretching it really hard and it falls off the wall and stuff. That kind of thing. A lot of people, in fact, I know very few people that even have one because they use their cell phone. So to them, why would they? That's the way they think. Oh, I use this to talk. They don't think beyond that. And so to me, I actually want to buy a home phone. I'm being dead serious about this. In fact, one thing I would like to do, I wish I had a way that it made it harder. Like I've even thought of making the cell phone actually a little bit slower, like more difficult. There's more things that you actually have to do in order to accomplish the tasks that you're trying to do on the phone. I know it sounds weird, but I think it's good. I think there are benefits to it. Like, for example, I've said this before, the idea of having on your cell phone, having a bunch of names stored with all their bio, that's very helpful. But it's also not helpful in some ways, because if you end up not having your phone on you and you don't know how to access it, or you're out somewhere and you're like, well, what's the person's number? Well, I don't know. Well, back in the day, man, you memorized numbers because you had to push the button, or you had to use the little rotary dial. And so you would hear the grrr, grrr, and you would get into patterns. We're pattern recognizers. So people would be able to memorize. In fact, there were people in the comments before that said that they remembered numbers, man, from like, when they were 8, 9 years old, that they remember those numbers and they remembered who they belonged to and everything else. And so you don't have that anymore. I mean, if somebody said, hey, what's the number to your buddy over here? I wouldn't even know. I would be confused about it. Be like, I don't know. I just look up his name. That's not very helpful. That's a price tag. That's actually a cost. It's okay. Let's see here. Now I just read books on my Kindle Unlimited. Since I got rid of it, I've read 4 books in less than a month. Isn't that something? When I started doing that with my phone, where I wasn't using my phone, or if it died, I've been reading more books. In fact, I started reading again because I never finished it. I started reading. Oh my gosh, let me think here, man. The Odyssey, because I have a couple books, and I was thinking about the one I read last night. So I picked back up the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey, and began reading that. I'd like to finish it. I love the Iliad, absolutely loved it. Right, one of my favorite books actually of all time. Let's see here. CF says, I listen to sleep stories to help me fall asleep. I get that a little bit. I used to listen. Now people will say, well, I use my phone for that. I used to use a tape recorder. And what I would do is I would record those old Batman episodes from TV. And I would go ahead and I would record those during dinner. So during dinner, the TV's on in another room, and I'd put that little cassette tape thing. I had a what is it called? A Talk Boy? Like the one from Home Alone, that you can change the settings and make it sound funny and stuff. I had one of those, and I'd put it right by the TV, and I'd record those episodes of Batman. The late 60s, early 70s, or whatever. So I would record those, and then when I go to bed, I would listen to that. Okay, and so that's what I would do. So I understand that. In fact, I enjoy listening to old time radio sometimes, but I think that's even a little bit of a bad habit. I think that's a bad habit. In fact, I think it's a bad habit to get accustomed to sleeping with a fan. And I do. I have a fan. I have to have the fan like right in my face, and a bunch of blankets on, which is it's a conflict. It's really the sound. And I've been listening recently. I'll listen every once in a while when I was still bringing my phone up to bed with me. And since I have not been doing that, I sleep way better, by the way. I sleep through the night because I wake up. It's not true for everybody, but I wake up and I struggle. That's, the main reason actually that I struggle with my weight is that a lot of times I'd wake up in the middle of the night, stagger my way down the stairs, I'll go to the fridge and eat blobs of peanut butter and jelly, get busted in the morning because my wife is like, there's jelly inside the peanut butter. There's peanut butter inside the jelly. And I'm like, I know. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? Why don't you just take a scoop and eat it instead of complaining? Why are you complaining? Oh, who complains about that, man? Just eat it out. Just, if you see it in there, it's not gross. It's delicious. And you're like, well, you think it's gross? And I'm like, yeah, it's really gross to do that. And you're like, well, what were you going to make? Well, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Then throw some bread in there. Take some chunks of bread and throw it in and eat it up, man. Eat it up. That's what, Gordon Ramsay says that's the right way to eat it. Oh, man. Okay. But I also listened to binaural beats. When I was doing that, I would turn on these binaural beats for like fall asleep fast, or REM sleep real fast or whatever. And you can find all these videos on YouTube. Some are better than others, but I really enjoyed that. And I've gone to sleep before listening to old time radio. So I like old time radio shows, mainly ones like mystery and stuff like that, to go to bed listening to mystery. But the truth is, I'd rather go to bed reading mystery. I mean, I've got the complete collection of Sherlock Holmes. It's massive. It's beautiful. It is a thing that my daughter got when we were at the Sherlock Holmes Museum in London. And so on her Make-A-Wish trip. So she got that. I've read a bunch of them. I love them. Absolutely love them. And yet, you know, here I am. I'm like, well, I kind of listen to them, whatever. And I'm like, no, man, you got to read. It's good for the brain, man. It is good for the brain. Let's see. Let's see here. Last comment. The art of the meme. It's nice to know people are in fact on the ground. Oh no. My internet dropped hard. I don't know why that is. And I apologize for the glitch on that. Let's see here. It's nice to know people are in fact on the ground questioning all of this. Yes, totally. 100% true. Totally 100% true. Yep. Very, very, very grateful for that. Yep. Okay. So back to the funny stuff, man. Back to these memes. We got to do it, man. We got to do this because we have another phone call from her in a half an hour. So we got to crank this one out, man. We got to crank this bugger out. Okay. Deep state foot brace. Really? What? Fake foot brace with built-in GPS tracker, ideal for anyone under sealed indictment. Out of stock. Dude, yes, because Joe Biden, and dude, he's not just under sealed indictment, dude. Isn't he, he's being charged with felonies. You know, he's being accused of some felonious behavior, and that is going, you know, of course, to do with the entire situation that he denies that he did, that's entirely on video, that you can see him proudly admitting and bragging about. Give me a break. and all the media, they're running cover for him. Oh no, he's good. It's all fake. There was nothing to do with that. You're not hearing from him what he's saying. He was lying, like, you know, all the other times. It's true. It's possible. It's true. I mean, he's the same guy plagiarizing, you know, out of his rear end. I mean, the guy's just major time plagiarizer. You can watch. I've showed videos here. And not only that, but he told stories over and over of how he was walking in marches, civil rights marches. The guy's lying through his teeth. And honestly, think about the level of that lie. Just think about that for a second. With a straight face, as a senator, walking around talking and making it all emotional. Or about his dad and how his dad was, you know, doing certain kinds of work and coming home and he remembers at night. And all the while it's pulled line for line from somebody else. It's amazing, man. You know, he's in trouble. Canadian Army promotes polar bear to honorary master corporal. Of course they are, man. Canada is the place of the Great Reset, man. It is the place of the Great Reset. We know it's true. Oh, yeah, certificate of appreciation. Oh. Yeah, Master Corporal Juno. The Canadian Army celebrated the 5th birthday of a beloved polar bear at the Toronto Zoo by giving the animal a promotion. Is that how bad it's gotten in Canada? Is your army that bad for real? I mean, is your military like what's... You're like, well, what should we do? And you're like, well, let's give this bear. And see, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's why we know what's really going on here. We covered the Great Animal Uprising. I don't know if you guys caught it, but in the speech yesterday, okay, that I shared on the show, the speech from the rally that took place last Saturday, where I spoke there, it was an amazing speech, man. It was an amazing speech. It hasn't been posted independently to YouTube yet. Okay, it's true. Has not been posted. I said it would be. I lied. It was not true. It was my intention, right? It was my intention to, but it didn't happen. You know, but at the beginning of that, in the introduction, it was talking about, you know, that Jeremiah hosts Paleocrat Diaries, where he talks about America first and traditional family values, Christian victory, and the drum roll, the Great Animal Uprising of 2020. Yeah, right in front of a whole bunch of people, man. The Great Animal Uprising of 2020. And people are probably like, dude, what's that? That sounds fascinating. I wonder if there are any documentaries on it. And I'm like, no, not yet. We're working on it. We're working on it. I don't know, though, if we'll ever get it done, because apparently, and I put a lot of trust into Ailey upstairs in the staff. I put a lot of trust, man. And she's normally pretty good, man. She's normally pretty good. But I still have not gotten a letter as to who gave me that terrible article. I'm not letting it go, Ailey. I'm not letting it go. It doesn't matter who it is that picked it. You got to bring it down. So I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't know, maybe she's giving up, man. Maybe she's giving up. You know, maybe that doesn't excite her, you know. It's not something that pumps her up and gets her motivated to be like, yeah, man, I'm really going to get on that. She doesn't care. But if I said, hey, we need to put together a documentary, right? Maybe a Paleo Naughty exclusive. That's what we need to do. A Paleo Naughty exclusive, a documentary about the great animal uprising of 2020. We're going to have to do it. In fact, we may have to go here and interview this polar bear. I'm going to interview these animals, man. We are taking them on, and I'm going to be like, dude, we know what you're up to. We know the plotting and the scheming that has gone on. We have covered it for months now. I've been onto it for years. I've been on it, man. I've been on it. You guys can't pull one over on me. You can't pull one over on me. I'm the animal whisperer. I know this stuff. That's why people tune in. They know that I'm telling the truth about this. And they look around them and they see it. Every time now when they're driving down the road and they see a deer, they're thinking about the story where the deer stole the gun. Or if they see the raccoon, right outside their house, they're imagining that they're plotting and scheming to steal the treasures inside the home, maybe to crack open the safe, because they remember the story of the raccoons going into a bank. If they go to SeaWorld, or they go to any place where there's dolphins, they're immediately going to remember, and they're going to wonder. They're going to be a little suspicious of the dolphins and wonder, how high are you on pufferfish? They'll look around. They'll look around and say, hey, what kind of fish are you feeding this thing? Oh, puffers? Yeah, figures. You're in on it too. I could go on and on and on and on with this. I really could. I really could. All right, man, moving on. Let's see. How is this funny? The CNN, okay. Well, the New York Times one was funny. So what does this one say? CNN exclusive. A vast trove of leaked documents shows that China underreported COVID-19 numbers, took weeks to diagnose new cases, and didn't disclose a December flu spike in Hubei. When was this posted? 18 hours ago. Yeah. Dude, you guys, I told you, we are so far ahead. We are so far ahead. Look at these guys. They take themselves very, very seriously. I'll show this here. We got to show this. Oh, it's 7 minutes. We're not going to show the whole thing. Oh, yeah, okay.
Leaked documents from...
Okay, here we go.
Breaking news for you in our world lead. CNN has obtained leaked documents from inside China. Documents that reveal the missteps and the chaos of the Chinese government's early response to the coronavirus pandemic. The documents are from Hubei province, home to the city of Wuhan, where the pandemic is thought to have started. They show authorities released misleading public data on the...
Okay, now, in fairness, they're talking about documents that now they have, like, from within. So these, they would say, that's documentary evidence. You can come to this in many different ways. Many different ways that are completely licit, completely valid, right? Ways that are completely reasonable, that you go, it's quite obvious, in fact, that they were hiding the numbers. And you can pull a Sherlock Holmes and go, okay, well, you got data point over here, data point over here, data point over here. How do these things fit together? You don't have to be, beautiful mind, seeing all the patterns all over the place to recognize that. Which is why we can talk about these stories all the time. This is what they do. And that's why I said, you don't even need these people. You don't need them at all, man. Get rid of it. Cut that cord, dude. Do it for Fox. Get rid of it all, man. You don't need it. And even for the people that are like, well, no, I still want to keep Fox because of Tucker. Number one, there's the internet. You got to know that. In fact, you can go on Telegram, and people can be mad about that all day long. You can go to Telegram, and you can see entire episodes of him. Entire episodes. And so there's different places you can go online and be like, well, I'm just going to, if you're really that desperate, or go and find him somewhere else and find his clips, that he does. If that's what you really want, and that way you're not even dealing with the commercials, because then you're, supporting them. You're really supporting them financially at that point. If you tune in and you're only watching the clip, but you're not watching anything else, it's kind of undermining their model a little bit. But the idea is, even with Tucker, I mean, Tucker, he follows the same kind of thing that we do, right? And I'm not saying he follows what this show, but I am saying that, look, the method of finding news is journalistic with him. guess what? It is with this show. It is with a lot of other independent shows, including War Room, which is what was talked about up here. Let me see here. I saw it mentioned War Room. Steve Bannon's War Room has been reporting this for months. CNN was willing to share Chinese propaganda, even if millions died, to help Biden. And look, so there are other outfits out there that do that. You don't need them. They're late to the party and they're not even good at delivering it. So they're always late. They're riddled with fake news and they're really terrible at delivery. Why would you support that? Why would you even make an excuse for that product? Just leave. It's really not worth it. You can find better things. All right, hold on. How many more funny? We only have one. Oh no, this is the last funny. Okay, we'll watch this, and then we're on to some serious business, guys. And remember, at the top of the hour, we're gonna have Maya Hahn. She's gonna be calling us back again. She's gonna be calling us back again to give us an update as to what's going on. We got an update earlier, indicating that apparently, given the testimony that was received at the meeting, and more importantly, the fact that so many people called the legislators. So many people called, right? And because of that, the people in charge of these hearings have decided to grant a hearing, schedule a hearing with Giuliani and the legal team for Donald Trump. It's a game changer, guys. It's a game changer. So let's see here. All right, shocking drone footage shows the moment that a bull shark came face-to-face with a monster crocodile in Australia. Chelsea and Bryce. Look at that. Chelsea and Bryce. Okay, I got you. Yeah, Chelsea and Bryce. They were fishing near Ivanhoe Crossing in Cunanora when they set up their drone camera in hopes of seeing what lurked in the murky waters. This according to the Daily Mail. Their drone captured a bull shark just a few feet away from the monster saltwater crocodile. Dang, dude. Not cool, man. Not cool, dude. Okay, yeah, according to Newsweek, the crocodile measured a whopping 16 feet. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh, they got a video. Yeah, all right. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh no, there's no audio. That's a drone. They should have put some music with this thing, So, okay, do you guys see that? Let me see if I can zoom in on this bugger. Let me see if I can zoom in. Boom. Okay. That's at least a little better. Okay, so at the bottom half, if you split that in half, right to the bottom, right in the middle, right? If you have an intersection, they're kind of facing off at each other. So if you face the snout, right, and you kind of make a laser, right, which the alligator probably is equipped with, right? The alligator probably has a laser. So if you take the laser and you beam a straight line, right, from where the snout is going, and you do that, you're gonna see that little shark, a little bullhead shark. And let's see what happens with this bugger. What's gonna go on with this? Oh, he just turned around and booked it. He just turned around. He's like, nah, I'm out of here. I'm out. Okay, let's go back one more time. So, just swimming along. I'm out of there. I am out of there, man. Yeah, dude, you don't want to mess around. Dude, look at that stinking alligator, bro. Look at that alligator, son. Massive, dude. That thing's gigantic. It's like out of one of those movies. Have you guys ever watched those movies like Sharknado and stuff? Like, there's got to be ones about alligators and everything. Like, I don't know what they are, but this looks like it maybe came right out of that. In fact, it almost looks so weird. It looks a little bit fake. Doesn't it look a little bit fake, guys? A little bit? Are we getting trolled with this? It's apparently been viewed over 1.6 lakh times. What is lakh? What is that? I don't know, man. We're going to look this up real quick. And then we're moving on, guys. We're going to do the Wolfpack song, so you got to get your coffee ready right now. In U.S. dollars. All right, in U.S. Why? How much is a lock? How many dollars is it? Okay, so why would they call it that? Why would they do that? I don't understand, man. Yeah, it's a unit in Indian numbering system equal to 100,000. Oh, dang, okay. So, wow, so yeah, we're talking lots. Lots and lots and lots, man. We are talking lots and lots and lots. And again, I'm sorry for the cable connection here. We're having some issues. And I even have down here, a really amazing futuristic extender for the internet. We got it. We got it because we were having such issues, man. In fact, we had one yesterday, but that was little Louie. That was little Louie at the end of the show, man. He accidentally just unplugged it all the way, just cut up, blam, right as we were about to do, in fact, a prayer. We were going to read aloud a prayer that I do at the end of Mass, and it's something I think is really important, in fact. It's an act of reparation for the world, and I think it's really applicable. It's written a long time ago. I think that the little prayer book that I have, I think, is from the 20s, maybe. So it's old school, right? It's an old school prayer written in an old school formula, right? So the language is a little bit pretty lofty, but it's really good, and it hits all the different bases, you know. And so I did that, but it went out, guys. It went out, man. Alrighty. So real quickly, let's make sure that this circle here. Okay. So make sure that you get your coffee. I hope that you've got it ready. I hope you've been having a really good day. I'm sorry that this show is a little bit all over the place. I apologize for that. It's a little bit all over the place, but we're having fun. We're having fun. And we had, of course, remember, we had somebody come in, Maya Han. She's our on-the-ground reporter right now in Lansing, and she's going to be coming back in about 15 minutes. Okay, so she's going to come back with her second, and it's going to be the final update, right? And the show today is probably going to go till about 1:30 because we ended up starting at 10:30. And so that's kind of a big bummer, man. It's kind of a big bummer. And so we're going to go ahead. We're going to go a little bit longer. So stick around, guys. We got to buckle up. Grab that coffee. Today is the day that the Lord has made. We are rejoicing. We are glad in it. And we are vowing to do our best like we do every single day. It's what this is about, guys. It's what it's about. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It matters that you're resolving that in each and every one of those dynamics, in those aspects of your life, in each and every dynamic, you are going to maximize the good and minimize in an effort to eradicate the bad. It's what you're going to do. And you are going to do that whether you're working, whether you're at school, whether you're studying at home, whether you're cleaning your house, whether you're doing dishes or laundry, whether you're disciplining the kids or instructing them, going outside, working out. It doesn't matter whether you're eating, whether you are on your phone. The idea of using your time wisely to recognize, is this right here, is what I'm doing right now, is it really a product of me doing my best? Now, that doesn't mean you can't have fun. You're watching this show, man. It shows fun. This is in part entertainment. It's educating, right? It's educational. It's illuminating. Okay, it's illuminating, but it's also entertaining. And so you're having a good time. Maybe you got it playing in the background. I'm not against entertainment. I do a movie and music review show. Well, that's part of what we do. We also talk about, farts and stuff and mall rats and all life before cell phones, in fact. We talk about music and movies and food and alcohol. We do all that stuff. We have a really good time. So I'm not against that, right? But the idea that even our leisure, even in the moments of our leisure, that we're maximizing everything for the greatest good. And that's what we're doing because we resolve 3 things on this show. We resolve to never give up. We resolve to keep on smiling. And we resolve to memento mori, to remember that we're going to die. That we are, when we opened our eyes and took our breath, this was here already. We didn't make it. It's not a product of our imagination. We were born into it, and it shall be here after us. And it will continue. And so we resolve to do all of these things in order to leave it better than we found it. With Christ at the center, too. With Christ at the center. With our family and our church and our nation burning in our hearts. So, alrighty. So make sure you got that glass. Here we go, guys. I love my little dancers, man. I love those little dancers. Yeah. And Adam and Bethany and Shirley and little Louie, Bri, Annabelle, all the people in the video. Let's go. I love you guys. Man, I love you. Let's rock this out straight to the dome. Ah, yeah, Shirley. Raising that glass, baby. Come on. It's the day the Lord has made. Here we go. Ah. Boom. I love my boy. I love my little guy. That's the little dude, by the way. That's the little dude. That's the little dude who accidentally removed the 5G extension. It's true. It's true. And by the way, I got a phone call. And what's going on with this, man? I got a phone call from the GOP during the show. But you know what that goes to show? You know what that goes to show? It shows that you guys ain't watching. Why aren't you watching? What are you listening to instead? What is better and more informative and powerful than this show here? You tell me. You tell me. Because, I mean, look, you guys got to tell me, man. Tell me you ain't listening to no Charlie Kirk, dude. Tell me you ain't pulling the, Sean Hannity thing or Glenn Beck thing. Just tell me you've moved on, guys. Tell me you've moved on. Right? I got to get on their heels about it. I can say, look, man, you guys called me during my live show. Are you serious? Are you serious? And like, maybe they wanted to talk, man. Maybe they wanted to talk, and maybe they had an update. I'll presume the best. Maybe they're all on it. They've got all the screens on. They're like, Charlie Kirk, who's that? And instead, they're tuned into this show because they know that we are on the front lines of everything. They know it. They know it, and they know we're rocking the socks off of this stuff. And so they're tuned in, and they're like, look, we gotta get the dispatch to Paleocrat. We gotta get the dispatch. We gotta get on the show. I'm gonna presume that is what the GOP was doing when they're calling my cell phone during the show. We're gonna do that. All right, guys. Oh man, super dupe grateful for all of you. All righty. On to some serious business. This is a little bit sentimental. It wasn't funny. It didn't fit into anything else here. And so what I want to do, let's see if I can get that. Okay, I guess that's as high as I can get it. So Mike Tyson, I don't even know what ended up happening with that. Did Mike Tyson win? Did Mike Tyson lose? You tell me. You tell me. Because I don't know. Did he? I don't know. I know that he got back in the ring. I know he got back in the ring, but I don't know anything else. And so, but this right here was a pretty cool thing. I'm assuming it's possible that he lost. Because this is a moment where it's like a little bit of humble pie. But I thought about it, I said, man, this is actually really wise. And this is something and I don't know how often I've ever, maybe this is the first time in my life where I was like, everybody, we got to just stop for a second. We got to stop, collaborate, and listen to Mike Tyson. I don't know if I've ever said that, but I am right now. I am right now, man. And Oscar Willis, he agrees. Oscar Willis said there was a cool moment for you. So we're going to go ahead and play this.
Your legacy in this sport is unique and it's beloved. You're one of the most beloved figures in the history of boxing. Before this fight, was there pressure on you thinking, man, if I go out there and I don't look great, perhaps I might hurt my past? Or did you feel just so confident in yourself that never entered your mind?
Wow, I never asked me that. The thought of failure never creeped in my mind. If that failure, I don't know. I don't care. That was a hell of a question.
In a good way or a bad way?
No, in a way of
We're gonna go ahead and start that one back over because I had it really far down. I didn't know why it wasn't playing. I apologize for that. We're gonna go ahead and
beloved. You're one of the most beloved figures.
Okay. So forgive me for that. It's worth
your
it.
legacy in this sport is unique and it's beloved. You're one of the most beloved figures in the history of boxing. Before this fight, was there pressure on you thinking, man, if I go out there and I don't look great, perhaps I might hurt my past? Or did you feel just so confident in yourself that never entered your mind?
Wow, I never asked me that. The thought of failure never creeped in my mind. If that failure, I don't know. I don't care. That was a hell of a question.
In a good way or a bad way?
No, in a way of how do I answer that question? I never think of God, forgive me, God, I always think of myself as grandeur. I always think of myself as a roaring gladiator like Alexander the Great. I feel like I'm a ruler when I'm in my mind thinking about accomplishing something. I think nothing's impossible to somebody who tries. So I never think about failure in that perspective. I think about failing, but not in that perspective.
I guess in that way you've answered the question. The pressure doesn't get to you. You don't allow it to get to you because you don't think of it at all.
No, I need the pressure. Without the pressure, there's no me. Without the pressure, I don't have the guts to say, hey, I'm gonna fight this guy. I have to have the pressure. Anything that I'm afraid to do, I do.
So first of all, let's get back here. We'll comment on this. So first of all, how many of you are in that same boat? I know I am. You know, I have that video game in the brain. I have that going on where you think of yourself, you know, you're a titan. You're able to do all these things, and you get in neck deep sometimes. But it's done out of an idea that you believe in yourself and you believe in the mission that you're on. And sometimes you do that, in fact, maybe to your detriment. Right? And there's a balance here. You want to have a good self-esteem. You don't want to be somebody who's just, kicking yourself while you're down. Or somebody who's like, you got really great things going on and you're sitting there going, oh, yeah, it's not really great or whatever. That's a false humility. It's a false humility. But we need to remain humble and we need to remain realistic. And sometimes, sometimes we end up hurting ourselves and we don't really think about that. We don't think about the decisions that we make, even on the level of optics. I mean, that's what this is about. He's on the level of optics here and he's saying, hey, do you ever imagine when you're up there? Do you ever imagine that, something that you may do may in fact hurt your image or your brand? What you're trying, and really at the end of the day, not just the image and brand, but at the core of that, the core of your message, the mission statement that you have, the mission and the dream in your heart. Does it end up hurting that? Do you not calculate this? And it was actually kind of touching, in fact, that a man who's done such great things. I mean, so many accomplishments, at the top of which, of course, is that he has an amazing video game in his honor. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is still one of my favorite, man. That's where we got Thota Popinski from. He's one of the staff members. We have a phone number for him you can call on our Connect page at paleocratdiaries.com. But the thing is, he's done great things, right? He's many accomplishments in his life. And here he is at this age, and he's having to think about it. It's a powerful thing. But then they asked about the hardships, and he says, no, I need those. I need those hardships, in fact. I was going through trying to find some videos that I might play today during the show. And I was going through and I'm looking and thinking, I've got different ones like the Make-A-Wish speech that I did and the speech I did where I talked about my mom and my brother. I said that I would like to talk about that sometime on the show. And as I was going through it, that was one thing that I was thinking is that, hardships has really helped to define me. I've kind of made my home a little bit, or at least kind of a bungalow. I made a bungalow. I made a vacation home, a vacation bungalow in sadness and in hardship. And it's kind of like cold weather conditioning, that you go out intentionally or taking cold showers, that you're trying to condition yourself to get zoned in that place, that even as the ice cold water is coming all over your body, and you're like all over your back. That's the worst too, man, is the back and the neck and stuff. That's that's bad, man. The front, that's where, the heart and the blood's pumping and stuff. That's not so bad. But the back, oh boy. But to get in the zone where even in that place for that period of time, that you're recognizing that this is helping you to resolve deep, to be calm in a storm, to go outside. I watched a video recently, a dude going outside. He said it's kind of funny. It's kind of hilarious. People might see him every once in a while. He's in a really cold region. There's snow all over the place. And he's walking around with a pair of shorts, no shirt on, and a pair of boots. And a backpack, walking around. And he's doing the Wim Hof thing, right? So he's doing cold weather conditioning and stuff like that. And so, which is something I'd like to do. Maybe not walk around with my shirt up. Maybe in my backyard. I got a fence. I can do that, man. I can do that. Somebody's going to drone it, dude. They're going to be like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at what he's doing. Oh, man, dude. So, but the thing is to get yourself in that zone. And that's what Tyson is saying here. That those hardships, that those are important to him.
Do it. When I was younger, when I was afraid to ask out a beautiful girl or a girl, whoever was, I would do it. Even if she was saying no, I would just do it just because I was afraid to do it. And that's just how I live my life. I live to be humbled.
Do you think that's something people could learn from? Do the things you're scared of because it pushes you to succeed more?
I don't think succeed from a material standpoint is an inside job.
I love that. Facing the things that you're scared of. Right? We do this every day, don't we, guys? Don't we, ladies? All the housewives, all the nurses and nannies watching the show. All the teachers maybe sneak in during lunch listening to the show. You know, but isn't it true? We do it every day, don't we? In fact, it's one of the creeds. The hardship is to never give up and keep on smiling. And what we're scared of is the idea of remembering your death and thinking of that often. In fact, regularly. To realize that you're mortal. It's scary. The idea of dying, people don't want to. We are instilled with a drive that says you need to survive, man. You need to survive. And so to face that every single day, to face that and to say, you know what? I'm doing my absolute darndest. I'm doing my absolute best to make sure that I'm facing those things that I'm afraid of, and that I'll do my best to be confident and to keep on smiling, even when looking into the eyes of what I'll one day be as a skeleton. All right. I'm admitting here. Okay, Maya, hold on a second, Maya. Hold on a second. I got you. All righty. Yep, you're sideways now.
Sideways.
There you go. Yeah, there you are. Yes, that's better. Okay. Yeah. So,
hello, Jeremiah.
Yes, hello. So, what are the
Hang on,
updates?
I got an alert coming in. What happened here?
So what are the updates? Anything new transpired? Any news that you've gotten?
All right. Well, it's been getting cold. People have been congregating more inside now. There's still a few good troopers out on the sidewalks. We have now been listening to the testimonies. So we got the mic set up. They're listening to the testimonies. We've had quite a few testimonies. You know, other than some of the first ones that were really good, I'm hearing that the other ones aren't the best.
Really?
So we really need some more quality people out here representing what happened and what went down in Detroit.
So
the press has been here doing some interviews, but I'm happy to know that they're going to have some pretty good testimonies come Thursday when Rudy and his team come here.
So they have a date for it.
I hear it's Thursday. I haven't been able to go inside to confirm if Rudy is coming, but that's what we're hearing here on the street.
Yeah. So like the people outside, are they Johnny Q, Sally Sue's? Are they organizations? Like, you know, are there other patriot groups that are present that you know of, that you're aware of?
Who it is? That's Jeremiah Bannister.
Yes, hello.
You're live on the air right now.
Yeah, you're live, man. You're live on a show. Yeah.
Yeah, out here it seems to be just a lot of good grassroots, wholehearted patriots that are willing to battle the cold to come here. You know, we've sent out an action alert. I think a lot of patriot groups across the state sent out this action alert last night, saying it sounds like they are not going to allow Rudy to come, and they were just going to be doing some 3-minute comments. So people said it's time that we step up, we get out on the streets, and we make some noise to make sure that our legislators knows that we're paying attention. So people came out, and it's freezing out here.
Yeah.
It is really cold out here, but I'm happy to see that some people came. We had a better crowd this morning. I think people got too cold. They're either inside. They opened up the Capitol building, the 4th floor, for an overflow. So a lot of people are over there. And then we have 2 overflow rooms here in the Senate. And then, of course, those that are doing their social distancing in their chairs in the actual committee room.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier, how there were action alerts that were sent out for people who are interested. to know how they can connect with action alerts, even just through you or through people you know? What are the best places people can go to keep up to date with what's happening?
Sure. Well, actually, it's funny you say that. You know, in Michigan, we have some really great grassroots organizations that have popped up, especially during COVID. A lot of people have just said, you know, awoken a beast, and we're coming out full force patriots and have said, well, we've had enough and it's time to rise up. So we have quite a few of them, and now we're finally actually all coming together. And we're all coming into what we call the Patriot Hub,
Yeah.
where we can all strategize together, unite, kind of like those Dems have been working on probably for the past 20 years, and we see how they are able to organize. And we just have been playing catch up, and it's time for us to rise up and do a better job. And so that's what we're doing. So we have started this little hub. It's called patriothub.org. And right now we're just collecting people's information because we need to really be able to tap into these masses in Michigan that are true patriots. They just don't know what to do, when to do it, and who to follow. So all of us are putting our heads together, the leaders across the entire state. And we're working together and we're saying, okay, this is something that we can do. There are people that want to do something. They want to take action. They just don't know how or where or what. And so they can go to that, and we're going to start sending out text alerts. We're going to send out email alerts, action steps that you can actually take to make a difference. If it's calling a rep, calling the Senate, leaving them emails, we'll give them the talking points they need to have so that people can start seeing what's going on. Because what the legislatures don't want us to do is to be informed. And that's exactly what we have to do.
Yeah.
We've got to be informed. We got to know and pay attention what is going on in our state. It's time we clean the swamp of Michigan, I'm telling you, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I think there's people that are stepping up, and they're going to take the call, and we're going to make it happen. So
It's
join
true.
patriothub.org, be part of the movement, be part of the hub, and we are going to be a power to be reckoned with.
I think it's exciting too because people are able to see, even through this, a lot of people might feel like, you know, what can I do as a regular person? You know, and you being there right now and showing video, in fact, people can see others just like them. They're not the big wigs, they're not the big money folks, they're the regular people, the heart of the MAGA movement, who are out there, and they're the ones, their phone calls, their emails, that's what did this, to put that pressure on the leaders to say, you can't scoop this under the rug. And I hope that this encourages people, that they can see this and know that they're not helpless, and especially when they're with other like-minded and like-hearted patriots.
That's right, because truly, we the people have the power. We just need to tap into that, and we need to unite and make good things happen. Bring back the republic, reestablish the power to the people. It's time to clean the swamp nationally and in our state, because let me tell you, it is mucky, dirty swamp here in Lansing. So I'm done. I know you're done, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
It's time to rise up and clean house.
It's true. Well, you know what? I am so grateful. And I know it's super swampy, but right now I have to be sympathetic and realize it might be a frozen over swamp because it's so cold out there. And so I'm going to be respectful of your cheeks, your rosy cheeks and your hands, and say thank you for calling in and doing this. This is the first trial I've ever done with this, ever. And I'm really happy that it worked as smoothly as it did. And you made it. You're the one. You volunteered. You rocked it. We're grateful for you. We love you, Maya. We love you.
Oh, I love you too, Jeremiah.
Yes.
I'm grateful to you. I'm glad this worked out. Glad to be your first on-scene correspondent.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, you got to keep a watch out because we're dispatching right now the Paleocopter, and I've got my Saint Bernard with a big thing of cocoa. So just look around, and if you see
I need it.
Yeah,
All right.
if you see the paleo chopper, come come down.
Oh, I need that
That's
hot
us.
chocolate so bad. I'm gonna be on the lookout.
Yeah, all righty. Well, God bless you.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
amazing. Keep kicking butt. You're awesome, Maya, and we're really
God
grateful.
bless you too.
Yes, thank you.
Take
We're
care,
grateful to have you as an ally to the show and
Good.
as somebody who's at the forefront of the Patriot movement in Michigan. We're just so grateful for you, Maya.
God bless.
God bless you.
I'm sorry I didn't do the interview a minute ago. So I'm pissed off at this panel I'm watching.
Yeah. They're still on. She's like, we're still on the air. We're still on the air. Oh no. Oh no, dude. Oh no. By the way, guys, I hope that you enjoyed that. I'm serious, man. I really hope that you enjoyed that. You know, because it's one of those things, man, where I've never tried it. We've never tried it. Never tried it. And I was nervous, man. I was like, am I going to have to, you know, drop in the video frame? And I was making it way more complex than it had to be. And so I'm really grateful, not only that she was able to come and be on the program a couple times, in fact, to call in 2 different times, but to help me to realize that that's as easy as it gets. That's, you know, is it a little sloppy a little bit? Did I have to try to figure it out for a second? Yeah, maybe. Maybe I did. But it worked. And I'm so grateful because now I can call up a bunch of my boys and say, yo, bro, you want to be on the show? I figured it out, son. I put together the template. And now all I got to do is just change the names out. So if you want somebody to be a guest on the show and you think somebody would be a perfect guest for this program, because it's different. It's a different kind of show. But if you'd like to have people on to talk about topics that you love, make sure to send that to paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. All right, let me see here. Hold on. Let me see here. All right, it says in the comment section, right here, it says, I don't have that often, only when it's something I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, such as my faith, trust in God, love for his people, and his truth. I'm not entirely sure what that comment's in reference to, but even just taken alone, I like it. I like it. I'm grateful for that. Very, very, very grateful. And remember, I'm grateful also for not only everybody tuning in, but everybody who's sharing this. Okay, everybody who's sharing it, whether on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, doesn't matter. No matter where you are, share the link with your friends. Let your friends know. If you think this is a good show, and you're like, hey man, I really like this one segment, or this was really cool information, make sure you share that. Let them know specifically what you like about it. Okay, that's the number one way. Because we're not beholden to commercial advertisers. We're not beholden to it. Let's see here. In the comments, it says, the obstacles push me to have a deeper faith and trust in God and to be the best husband, father, and friend that I can. Bravo, man. That's a super succinct way of saying what took me, 5 minutes to say. You did a good job, man. That's really succinct. It's pithy. It's good. It's good. It's sharp, man. So, also, death is a terrible fear, but a great reward for the Christian who not only believes, but knows that their final home is in heaven. And see, that's the thing. That's the thing, is that there will always be a fear, I think. The people who don't and claim that they have no fear of it at all, they're playing fast and loose with fear. Because otherwise, if a train is coming toward them, and they say, well, I would prefer to move out of the way. Well, why would you prefer to move out of the way? In almost any situation. In almost any situation, they'd prefer to move out of the way. Why? Well, because I don't want to die. Why don't you want to die? Why would you prefer this over that? And they might say, well, I enjoy this, or I don't like the pain. No matter what, whatever's associated, the pains and the sorrows that are accompanying death, nobody wants that, right? And in that sense, people are quite afraid. And in fact, afraid of the pain. The idea that it could happen at any moment, that you simply don't know. That you don't know when it's going to happen. People say, well, any moment. Say, dude, ask the guy who died choking on a chicken wing. I know a guy whose brother died that way. That's messed up junk, by the way. So there, do you think that, number one, that he thought he would die that way? Number two, that he thought he would die that day? And number three, right, that He's very happy that that's the way he went out. Like, he's like, man, really? Forever, dude, he's that guy. You know, or people slipping and falling. Slipping and falling. It was somebody recently, man. They literally just slipped and fell. And when they slipped and fell, boom, hit their head and boom, they're done. Bye. They didn't think that. They're probably going to go do something. And all of a sudden that happens. You know, did they factor that in their day? Did they remember death? Did they keep memento mori before their eyes? You know? Did they make the best of what they had before that? No. Let's see. Sunday, there was a small gathering of Trump supporters in Utica, Michigan at 23rd and Van Dyke. We drove by and honked in support. Yeah, there's a lot of those, too. There's a lot of those, too. What about the Mike Tyson story? Somebody's talking about the Mike Tyson story. Let's see. Lawrence. Oh, Lawrence, dude. Really, bro? I'm happy to see you, Lawrence, man. I don't see you enough, dude. What are you watching? You need to be watching this show, man. You need to have this. You need to have the show, you know, right there on the old IV, on the old drip, constant. You're one of the inspirations, by the way, man. You are one of the inspirations, in fact, for the program. You said you're available 24/7 on all topics irrelevant. Do we have to have you then, if they're all irrelevant, then with your expertise, right, of psychology, we need to have you on the show to talk about the great animal uprising. Oh, yeah, and he says he's still sleeping. What? He's sleeping at noon? What are you doing, dude? Are you one of the scroll guys in the middle of the night, dude? You seeing the sunrise? Scrolling through Facebook, looking at kitty cat memes? What's going on with you, buddy? I love you, man. I love you, buddy. Seth says, I knew you as a child. That's a really dangerous way to start a comment, man. If you say you knew me as a child, I just simply don't know if I want to actually go any further than that. Because I don't know what's coming, man. I don't know what's coming, dude. What are you going to out me for, man? Hard to take you seriously now, love. Yeah, you know, it's funny, man. Yeah, you knew me as a child, but wasn't I always a joker? Wasn't I always joking around, even to my detriment, man? And you do know me, dude. You're the guy who got me into Yanni. You're the guy who got me into Yanni. I actually got to see him, by the way. I saw Yanni in concert. It went a really long time, and we had to get back to the kids, so we weren't able to make, it was like 3 hours long. I mean, it was just really long. And plus, man, I cried so much, man. I'm sitting there in the back, and he's playing his songs in that sexy, smooth talking voice that he's got. I'm crying. I'm like, Yanni, people need to listen to you. People need to listen. Oh, man, dude. Yeah, dude. I will definitely say stay strong, man. I appreciate, by the way, Seth, I appreciate that you tune in. I'd love to meet up with you again. You know, catch up with what you're doing. Get to talk, man. Just hang out and just catch up, man. I miss you, buddy. You're a good guy. You're a real good dude. And didn't your family have some Shar-Peis, bro? I think you may be the only family I've ever gone to the house and seen a bunch of Shar-Peis, dude. Yeah, man. Let's see. James says, I want to die eating a nice deep dish pizza with bacon on it. By the way, how would you guys, if you could die and I would say keeping it family friendly, but I don't know many kids in the comment section. I can see, because I know certain ways to die that wouldn't be half bad. Say, look, it could be worse, right? I mean, I can imagine. But the thing is how would you want to die? If you could just say, Lord, this is how I actually want to die. Don't tell me when, but tell me how. Would that actually be terrible? Because then anytime that happens, would you avoid it? Would you avoid the thing maybe you like? I don't know. Yeah, but dude, a deep dish pizza, is that, you really like pizza, man? Chicago deep dish, dude, or no? What's better, dude, Chicago or New York, dude? What is it, man? And what's New York deep dish? Do you like Chicago deep dish? What's your favorite deep dish, man? Let's see. Cherie said my comment about the faith, it's related to the Mike Tyson story. Okay, I got you. Yeah, West Coast, Pacific Standard. Okay, so I'm on at 10. Oh, I got you, man. But at noon, man, really? I don't know, man. Ailey says it was an awesome concert. Talking about Yanni. I know, man. Wasn't it powerful? The thing is, she likes Yanni, but not like me. I mean, Yanni goes deep, dude. It is, man. It's something that really hits the heart, man. Really hits the heart. It goes back to a time in my life, it was one of these things. I remember I was in a car, listening on a cassette tape And I'm like, man, this music is just awesome, man. And I love it. I love the album where he's on the island. And where is it? Puerto Rico? Dude, some of the best songs, man. Some of the best songs. Really, really great songs. Really powerful. And I like his method where he says he doesn't write in the moment. He knows a lot of people that do that. He says he lives fully in that moment. And then once that moment is over, then he writes about that moment. You know, interesting thing. I should try to interview Tommy Vext from Bad Wolves. I know nothing about Bad Wolves. And that's the other thing, man. I got to deal with learning new people, man, and saying like, hey, dude, you got a podcast. Hop on my show. I'd love it, dude. Look at what we did with my friend, Maya. And check it out, dude. It was a bunch of fun. It was a bunch of fun. We could have a blast, man. I'd talk about almost anything. And yeah, Seth said, my favorite Joker. Dude, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, high school, dude, was a crazy time, brother. It was a crazy time. Your boy did some wild things. Yeah, man. Yep. And you say you still listen to Yanni. You don't admit it to many people, though. Do people give you crap about that, dude? Why would anybody give anybody crap about listening to Yanni? He's the greatest composer in modern history, dude. He's number one. It's just a fact, dude. I think it was a universal poll. He won like 99% of the vote. It's not even up for debate. Yanni wins. Someone said they like to die by a swift heart attack in church praising God. Hey, you look at that. Yeah, that's better than a deep dish. James, I love you, buddy, but I'm throwing you under the bus on that. He's like, I just want the deep dish. It's so delish. What? Someone said, let's just say I want to die trying to repopulate the earth with my wife. Yeah. Oh, and in there, his daughter is aghast. Oh, man, dude. Okay, look, but ain't no lying. Come on. Deep down inside, I bet you a lot of the people are thinking the same thing. They can say, well, that's inappropriate. I go, yeah, that you thought it in your heart and that's what you really want. And they're like, okay, you busted me. I busted you, man. You guys are toast. You guys are toast, man. You are toast. All right. Let's go ahead here. This was written, I said I was going to talk about it yesterday. This is written by my boy LC Getz. I love this guy, by the way. Love this guy. He's going to be an amazing dad. They're expecting their first. Very, very excited for him. He's a powerful dude, and he's got some really, really, not only great ideas, but, man, he's got a great heart. You know, he's one of these guys, man, that, you know, he's not always at the front of the pack. He's not always trying to be, you know, the talkative guy. He's somebody who's really good at listening, and he's a really great writer. He's a fantastic writer. And he's got a blog, ancientthought.com. So you can go and find him over at ancientthought.com. He's published one of my pieces. I've only submitted one, to be quite frank. I feel badly about that. Same thing with Meaning of Catholic. I think I've only got 2 over there. So, I mean, I'm doing stuff all the time, man, on, you know, sitting here talking into microphones. So, I mean, give me a break. Okay? Give me a break. But this guy, he does really great work. Right? And I still have to edit a movie review we did of Mac and Me. So we did a movie review of Mac and Me. We did that. Oh, let me go ahead and get Skype out of here. I don't know why that was still on there. Oh, no. Skype. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and change up this, go to the news here. Let's see. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't know why that happened. Oh, no. That's not good. All right. We're going to switch over here, guys. Sorry. I apologize. So, but the thing is, he wrote this piece, and it's called, His Kingdom Come, His Will Be Done. And I read it, and as you can see, man, there's a lot of green. And I wanted to just talk about it and just give you guys his opinion on it, okay? And to find out where you are on that. And, you know, is he right? Is he wrong? What do you think? Okay? He said, what happened to our country, that we become so completely split in our political allegiances? I believe this divide goes back to the roots of our founding. Our country was built on the principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. 3 things that everybody wants, but not everybody can have due to issues of prioritization. When it comes to life, the left prioritizes the lives of the poor and the minorities, while the right prioritizes the lives of the unborn and service members, such as veterans or police officers. All lives are important, but the priority is generally different politically. This is also not to say that there aren't pro-life Democrats and Republicans who support minority causes, but the political priority is still very much tied to each party. I agree with them for the most part on that. I'm glad for the nuance, by the way. I'm glad for the nuance. Maybe he could have led with it. Maybe he could have led with it, so that he didn't rile people up. But he covers it at the end, and he says, "Look, there are people on the right who also support the poor, and we know that because religious organizations and people who are actively involved in religious organizations tend statistically to be people who take their religion very seriously and in a fundamental way. So an originalist way that says that the Bible is written, that it's inspired by God, that it's meaningful and applicable to the entirety of life, things like this. Those people generally are the ones that are very active in their congregations, and people who are active in their congregations and churches that believe those ideas blow other churches that don't, and organizations like secular groups that don't, blow them out of the water when it comes to charitable donations, when it comes to missions, when it comes to even things like just getting money and or bikes for kids and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter what it is. By far, it's not even remotely close. The amount of money on a private level, the amount of money that people give in charity who believe in religion and would tend to be on the right of this spectrum, by the way. That's what I'm saying. So if we incorporate that as a cause for the poor, soup kitchens, stuff like that, and another group choosing instead to say they care for the poor, but the way that they want to care for the poor is done through other institutions, most prominently the state. So through various welfare programs, for instance. Okay. And so that would be a marked difference between them. But yet it would be silly to deny. People can say, people don't care. The left doesn't care. I know people on the right that say the left doesn't care about the poor. I disagree with that. I think that their mechanism that they believe ought to be used in order to help the poor, I believe that is wrong. But I don't actually doubt that the majority of people who are out there trying to make it so that people who are poor are able to get food, or that a lot of times they're the only ones talking about food deserts. And that's just true. Food deserts where you might have an area of town where there's just simply no supermarkets anywhere. They're the ones talking about transportation, public transportation, because they actually understand that a lot of times people who are poor can't just, go out to their car and drive around. They can't do it. And so people say, well, what do you do? How do you make up the deficit there? What can you do? Let's see here. And so I don't deny that that's the case. I don't deny that that's the case. I think that it's a matter of difference, right? Like on not just priority, but on mechanism. What is it? How are we going to go about? How are we going to go about trying to take care of those that we actually care for? And I know a lot of people who are Democrats too who are veterans. In fact, that's one of those things I think a lot of people would be surprised at how many veterans support people's right, for example, to kneel during the national anthem. In fact, I know veterans who say, I fought for that right. And they're right about that. They're not lying about that. Because sometimes you can use your rights in a way that may not be the most calculated or advantageous. That's my position. You have a right to do that. The president has a responsibility to defend the idea of standing up. But he also accepting the idea that people are able to kneel, but also being forceful about that because it's iconic at that point. It's a symbol. And it's important. So I'm really glad that both exist, in fact. When it comes to liberty, the left prioritizes sexual liberties, women's rights, and the fight against racism. The right prioritizes liberty from big government, Second Amendment rights, and the fight against biased and deceptive mainstream media coverage. Again, there will always be exceptions on both sides. For example, all Republicans think racism is disgusting, even though many don't agree with critical race theory. and almost all Democrats don't like being lied to, even though they limit their news to sources like CNN, MSNBC, and the New York Times. That's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing, isn't it, guys? But the truth is, I'm going to see if that helps, if I get that off the screen, because I've been having issues with my internet. So the idea, yes, they prioritize sexual liberty, the left. They prioritize so-called women's rights and the fight against racism. But again, we're back down to what is the mechanism. And I'm glad he mentioned that when he talks about critical race theory. Because you can disagree. I have fought for my entire adult life against racism. I've been attacked by foaming at the mouth racists. They have doxed my family, put pictures out, because my family, while being multiracial, my family looks white. They pass for white. But if you're a racist and you care about that whole pure blood crap, and that's what you're about, well, you're going to look at, if you end up making babies with any of my kids, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that you have, the Korean bloodline so close. I'd be like, yes, I'm married to it. Like, that's what that is. So we have different ways and means of fighting racism. And there's a debate over that. Some people, the left has abandoned the idea of color blindness, or nicety for that matter, to say they don't even believe anymore in the idea of, let's just play nice. Let's do the peaceful protest stuff. Maybe that's part of the problem. And in some ways, they have a point about some of that. There are some things that are so outrageous. Must we be, pacifistic Mennonites all the time? Are there instances, are there situations that really do deserve for people to be out and about, super loud and proud, really angry, not being nice anymore, saying this is what this is. It's gone too far. That's what a debate should be, instead of just saying, yes, it's okay, or no, it's not, to say, be more nuanced about this maybe. And again, but no matter what it is, whether it's the first set, the first paragraph, or the second of this, that seems to be the thing that's missing, is that space in between. Then not in between as if, we're trying to mix and match and say, well, it's a perfect balance of all things, right? Yin yang in this thing. But to say that place in between where people have enough shared values that they're able to actually have dialogue, that they're able to debate this in a civil manner, by and large, with rare exceptions. When it comes to the pursuit of happiness, we see yet another disconnect in priority. It's a battle of logic versus emotion. It's a battle of every person deserves X versus every person must contribute and earn X. No side is completely right in these seemingly cut and dried matters. It's simply a difference of worldview and personality. This is not a simply thing. This would be one of the things that if I was talking to him, and I know because he asked, in fact, about this at the end. If you have a difference, let him know. And so I would say, look, it's not necessarily cut and dried, but it's never simply a difference of worldview. In fact, that's a complex matter. And personality. Although he's correct to say it's a difference of worldview, which includes oftentimes moral foundations. There's moral foundations theory, and you can see how this plays itself out. And people can say, if someone says every person deserves X, right? So if you say that, you say every person deserves the right to breathe. Well, that has to be a little bit nuanced. Well, and even they would admit that, because when you push, you say, well, wait a second. What about the baby that was born? What about the baby that was born that somebody tried to abort but didn't die? Well, or what about Terry Schiavo? What about Terry Schiavo? What about, people who support ideas of, eugenics and ideas of, euthanasia, things like that? And not everybody on the left. I don't want to say everybody on the left believes that we just got to pull the plug on Granny. I don't want to say that either. But when those conversations come up, it's never as clear cut as this. And that's all, I guess that's really what he's getting at. It's never this clear cut like that. These are bumper sticker things. It's always deeper than that. Or every person must contribute and earn X. Now, I would be interested to hear the nuance with that. because it seems like that is the addition of the nuance. The idea that every person has to contribute and earn X. If you don't work, you do not eat. Because we have the problem of the free rider. That's actually a problem. The free rider dilemma is what it's called. So you have a free rider. What do you do with that thing? And how do you limit free riders? Otherwise, it can completely mess stuff up. When it comes to the pursuit of happiness, we see yet another disconnect in priority. Oh yeah, okay, they already did that. Again, this comes down to priorities of individuals, and amazingly, spiritual life is at the center of things. A study by Pew Research found that for the Republican, religion is the highest source of guidance for wrong and right at 44%. And that science is a close second at 41%. That should actually be, number one, maybe a little disconcerting, but not in a pluralistic democratic republic like our own. I mean, that's almost to be expected in a way. But it also should be, in its own way, encouraging to say that there are a significant number of people that believe that the highest source of guidance for right and wrong is religion, and that science is a close second. That if you're going to have two magisteria at all in your life, right? Science, philosophy, and the idea of theology with God and church, tradition, that these are very valuable guides, in fact. And together they are brilliant. For the Democrats, science is the highest source of guidance on wrong and right at 47%, and is followed by religion at a much lower 25%. Should an ever-involving science be the guide for an objective morality? I would ask this, I would say, can it? And the answer is no. The answer is no. Sam Harris can say all he wants. The fact is, the answer is no. Or should this guide be an unchanging God of the universe? I go with the latter. I've been with the former before. And realized, you can try to make a 10 Commandments. And people don't, they mock the idea, well, the 10 Commandments, and they have the secular people have criticisms of the 10 Commandments. And you say, in the world like ours, absolutely 100%. In fact, it's so genius, it was obviously God. It was obviously God. You can have these extremely difficult law codes. There's no heuristic, some real quick thing to make quick judgments that can be broken down. It can, and should be broken down with case law to understand the nuance in the application, like, thou shalt not kill, or thou shalt not murder, sorry. Thou shalt not murder, to say, what do you do? What do you do in a situation, if you're out in a war? Right? So it's not as if you just go and read those 10, but the idea is it's a heuristic. It's a quick judgment and a guide that can be broken down and given nuance to, but by the guide by itself, it's extraordinarily helpful. It's extraordinarily helpful. And the thing is, science, what's the closest thing the secular left has to it, dude? The Georgia Guidestones? That's the closest thing, dude. I don't know. And if one of them did come up with it, who would care? On what authority? If they say, well, it's the best of our lights and logic. And I'd say, yeah. It's kind of amazing because we're at a place, just like every other place we've ever been in history, where the best lights that we've got within a matter of generations ends up being looked at and thought, man, how could they believe that? It's true. It's true. The idea that animals, we're talking about animals with my buddy. In fact, we interviewed a guy and we were talking to him. He's from the Final Guys podcast. And we were interviewing him, my buddy Chad, for Paleo Cheese. We're sitting there interviewing, and they were talking about a movie. What is it called? Is it called Cannibal Holocaust or something like that? Anyway, it's a messed up movie. I've never seen it. Don't plan on it. Messed up movie, but apparently there was a lot of issues with actual animal, what they were describing as animal cruelty. And they were asking, like he said, he was wondering, when did certain ideas regarding animals and the proper treatment of animals, when did they really start coming around? In the way that we currently understand it. And to go back in time and realize, was it Descartes? Wasn't it Descartes? Who was it that was talking about animals being machines? We've learned a great deal since then about animals and emotions and the way that they group and stuff, and even their ideas, their cognitive abilities, self-awareness, in fact, communication, socialization, all of that. People We've learned a great deal. And so the idea that you're going to be able to provide something and say, oh, yeah, man, we're going to provide a 10 commandments for the world. Nice try. Nice try. You can even see when the UN does it. When the UN does it, people ultimately they'll sit there and say, why are we basing it on the UN? And what is the UN basing it off of? And what authority do either of those standards have? Why is there universal application of it? Why ought I? Why must I subscribe to that? What force does it have? That's why the 10 Commandments are in stone. Same study. Let's see here. Hold on here. Okay. The same study asked Republicans and Democrats about absolute standards for right and wrong by political party. Again, the top two answers are balanced, with 50% saying the right and wrong depends on the situation, and 47% saying that there are clear standards for what is right and what is wrong. You know, that's one of those things too. I think there's a balance with that too. I think situations matter. It's why I'm a geopolitical realist. Situations actually matter. That's why I say repeatedly, you got to dance. You have to play the card you're dealt, and you have to dance with who you brought, or in some cases, who dragged you to that prom. You got to do it. You know, and so there's a balance. What's the situation demand? Is it always so clear cut? Are there times where the answer is actually difficult? In fact, I think the Me Too movement, for all of the things that I've disagreed with, and it was one of the things that got me let go from radio because of my very open and vocal disagreements. But my disagreements had to do with the way that the Me Too movement approached what is a legitimate problem. And that problem being, who do you trust in a situation where somebody claims that they're the victim, but may not have evidence of that? That's actually a difficult legal situation. It is. Because if somebody says, well, this person abused me, this person raped me, unless they immediately go right away and get a rape kit thing done, unless there are certain things maybe they could do, but let's say that they don't. Let's say they're really hurt. Let's say they're super scared and they don't. And they or for whatever reason. And then they're left in a place where now they're like, nobody would believe me if I said it. And where the person being accused would have the logical and ethical right to say, look, you would need to have evidence of this. Because imagine if you were accused and you had not done that. I assume that you would be quite grateful, in fact, that not everybody's just going to believe it, but that you would say, wait a second, that you would be able to say with a pure heart to say, look, not only did I not do it, but you would need to provide some kind of evidence or proof more than just your claim. And imagine if that's not true. Imagine if we didn't have that expectation anymore. You could literally say anything. You could ruin anybody. You don't like what somebody does? You don't like what somebody does? You don't like who somebody is, what they believe? Well, guess what? That person's a rapist. That person went out and raped. And why limit it to that one thing? If you're going to take away the burden of proof, why limit it to that one thing? Why not say, he raped a bunch of kids? Well, what? You went out and you stabbed people. What? He stole from the cookie jar. What? Doesn't matter. If you take away the burden of proof, then you have, not only is the idea of victims' rights just toast, no, the presumption of innocence, that it's toast, but you would have full a blank check to weaponize accusation at the same time. Sometimes bad guys get off. Sometimes people who actually did something, those people don't get in trouble. And they get away with it. That's why people can say you got away with murder. And so that happens. And sometimes it's because they couldn't put all the pieces together. But in reality, and think about this, be honest about this. In reality, there would be people in a situation like that, which happens. There would be people who really experienced that, who had to face off with somebody that they rightly accused, and that person was able to defend themselves not only in court but in public opinion by saying, no, I didn't. That's a legitimate issue, and the Bible has an answer for it. I wouldn't know the New Testament application. And the modern mind would say, well, that's like magic, man. You know, the idea of going into the temple and having the chalice and pouring it out over the water over top of the letters of the law that were written out. And what is it? Takes dirt from on the ground in the tabernacle, and puts it into the chalice. And then you drink it, and if the leg withers, and people say, well, that sounds crazy. And say, but the idea of it is that you would have to instill a belief that an authority is not only on the case, but that God, whom that authority represents, that God knows the answer to it. That God is going to be the one to judge, and that you need to trust that. Again, a difficult situation. That's not, and I think the complexity of that predicament is a great evidence to show that even people thousands and thousands of years ago, that they understood the complexity of that situation. I'll move on after this. I'm glad you guys allowed me to talk about this longer than normal. I meant to talk about it yesterday, and I think that it's a good conversation starter. I think it's good, and I really love this guy, man. He's a good friend. The big divide that I see is that Democratic Christians believe that their vote is what will help God's kingdom come, while Republican Christians believe that with their vote, God's will be done. It sounds the same, but there's a difference. Leftist Christians want to see the kingdom of heaven come here on earth, but are often trying to achieve it with legislation over faith, prayer, and ascetic living. Right-leaning Christians do not think that they can make God's kingdom come because they believe that Christ is making this happen. Instead, they believe that their votes are as fair and as morally close to what Christ believes. What do you guys think about that? I'm a dominionist, by the way. I don't shy away from that. I don't shy away from that at all. I'm theocratic, in fact, in the sense that Christ the King is central to me. We are, in fact, if you believe in the kingdom in this way, and if you believe the kingdom principles can apply to every area of life, it's just the way that rolls. I wear it on my sleeve. I'm not afraid of that. I believe in Catholic social teaching. That's the way that works, man. It's a blend of things for me, It's a blend of things for me, but I have a standard. And so I don't shy away at that. And I believe that for me, it would be both. His will be done and his kingdom come. I believe that we are to be, and I've used this many times, so I don't want to reiterate myself ad nauseum. But to say, I've talked about the idea that we're like a tree, the mustard seed, right? That we start out this tiny little thing, and we did, and got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the birds of the air are making their homes and their nests in our branches. Or the idea that we're the leaven that's put into the batch, and it spreads and it works its way all throughout it. Or the idea that we disciple and baptize nations because all power and authority is to him. Or that we subject all things to Jesus Christ, and that he makes them his footstool until the last remaining enemy, the last remaining thing to be subjected to him is death. And the idea, of course, that we have a kingdom. That we have a kingdom, a kind of Jerusalem, that leaders and rulers of the world and people from all nations come in and out of its gates, bringing gifts. To me, that's an optimistic message. I'm not apocalyptic in that sense. That's why, we don't talk about apocalyptic stuff on the show. That's why I've even said that some of these apocalyptic people, including environmentalists, right? The real crazy environmental types, I'm kind of a crunchy con. But the idea that these really rabid, Paris Agreement folks, those kind of people, the Gretas of the world, the AOCs of the world, that it's a fanatical kind of Adventism. And I've joked around saying they're crazier than, they're even worse than the street preacher on the corner saying that the rapture is going to come. Because I'm not sitting here doing the show that we can shine brass on a sinking ship. I'm not doing that. I'm not going, well, the ship's going down. We're going to get zoinked out of here any second. Let me go ahead and, shine up all of the plates. What? No, I believe it's meaningful and important in here right now, in reality. And it's meaningful and important because we are part of that trajectory that I talk of all the time. That trajectory from the beginning that gets bigger and bigger and better and better. Going through, by the way, bursting through times that are super dark. Very dangerous. Blood. If your allegiance to Christ the King is unwavering, then disregard the entire article. If, however, you feel that your political beliefs have become the priority in your life and the thing you rest your hope on, you may want to re-examine the tenets of your faith. I agree, bro. I agree. All right, tell me what you think about that, guys. We'll go to the comment section here in just a little bit. All right, hold on. We're going to go real quickly, actually. I want to do a quick promo. We'll go ahead. In fact, we'll do two of them. That way I give my voice a break. I got to get something to drink. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Paleocrat Diaries every single weekday from, 10-ish to 1-ish. In that area. We're going to like 1:30 today because we started at 10:30. So that's just the way that's going to be. But we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about COVID. In fact, I'm going to deal with this pretty creepy situation here with this guy. Feel pretty badly about it. I hate to throw him under the bus, to be quite frank. I hate to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because he was crazy Loon Tune. Because he was crazy out of his mind. Scary guy, man. I'm glad that people like him are not in power. We're going to talk about, of course, COVID statistics. Why is the media hiding a lot of these numbers? How should we treat the media? Okay. Distinguishing truth from broadcast. That's actually over here. It's a great article, Imaginative Conservative. And the LifeSite article, you better believe that they're going to use the Great Reset. And also, and I know it might be a little controversial, but also the idea of distinguishing between discrimination and prejudice and having a nuanced position on not only what those things are, but how we actually do that every single day right now. We do it every day. In fact, it's practically unavoidable. And that's just the way that works. So I'm going to go ahead and put on this quick commercial, and we'll be back in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Love this video? What a coincidence. I do too. Now head on over to paleocratdiaries.com for more videos, blogs, book and movie reviews, even Team Tiny Dancer stuff. And don't forget to check out our new members and services pages. It's how I pay for my kids to attend Catholic school. Until next time, memento mori.
Just so people know, if I go to your website, paleocratdiaries.com.
Yeah, man.
So here's the site. And so if I scroll down here, it has all posts. If I just want to subscribe to your next video, where do I go here?
Let's see here. It might be at the bottom. I've never subscribed to my own site. I've never gone through this. I should. This is fancy. You're all fancy pants on me right now.
Well,
So,
this has got your stuff from, if I just go to all posts.
Go to the spooktacular one. Go back up. That's funny right there, man. There's a expose the COVID thing. It's a hilarious political satire. Because it's funny, you got to click on the actual article itself. Or else you're just going to watch the video right there.
Would you recommend people subscribing to you on YouTube?
No, yes and no. I would say do it right here. If you go on, click on tonight, right there. Tonight, our Halloween special.
Yeah.
Yep, click on that. And then down at the bottom. Yep, scroll down to the bottom of that. Yeah, that's my spooktacular. Yep.
Okay.
Well, no, scroll down. Keep scrolling. Right there.
Subscribe right here. Here
Subscribe. If you subscribe, and look at the colors, man. It's playful and fun. It's playful. And so the thing is, we have a really good time. And if you subscribe, we don't spam people. We don't send a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? In fact, the only updates you'll get are if I update the site at all with the video from the day. And what I do is I try to make it so that we have timestamps and topics. So we have a table of content. If it's a really cool article or a series of them, I will hyperlink those to the topic. And the timestamp, you can just click on that bad boy and it will take you directly to that topic. So you don't have to fumble around for 2 hours. I mean, that's, I'm cranking out 12 and a half hours a week of original content, not including exclusive videos that are unlisted, that the only way to watch those, like the Spooktacular one that was really, all it is funny. It's only funny stories. That's it. And I think I wore a sombrero. It was a lot of fun. You can watch that, but you have to watch it at the.com. So if you subscribe, you'll get those, but we're not going to send anything else. We don't share any of your stuff.
Yeah, if you just go to paleocratdiaries.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you can subscribe to our newsletter. Put your email in, get all your posts.
We don't share any of your stuff. All righty. So here's the thing. Okay, so I switched over to this. I'm gonna play because I accidentally got rid of the comment section. So I accidentally got rid of the comment section, man. Accidentally did it, man. So I don't want to miss out on any of the conversation that was going on. Let's see here. All right. See, I want to die procreating while eating deep dish. Okay, so yeah, so James is sitting there, and by the way, this is over on my YouTube channel. And so if you want to join that conversation, you can do that at youtube.com/Paleocrat. It's really easy to do. It's got the live video playing right now. In fact, you can see the live video on the left. You can see me scrolling around and everything else. It's a little bit delayed. It gives you an idea for how far ahead I am. I'm always ahead, guys. Always ahead. Always ahead. So yeah, right here it says, I agree. We should, let's see. Yeah, I just want to die free. Seth says that. Dude, by the way, that's awesome, man. You want to die free. Isn't that just the case? But if you're not free, at least you're procreating and eating deep dish at the same time. Oh my gosh, dude, you guys are terrible. All right. Lauren says they have food buses that go out to rural areas here in Southern California. It's true. And that's a way he's talking about the way that people can help the poor. To say, go out to areas that, and a lot of times it's not just rural, sometimes it's urban. In fact, a lot of the food deserts are in urban areas. And it's really difficult for people to have grocery stores. That's why you see a lot of grocery stores in suburban areas, stuff like that. But in urban areas, it can be tough. And some of it has to do actually with the way that we have constructed our cities. And I believe that we need to do a real huge overhaul. I'm a supporter of new urbanism. And I think that we need to really, really take that kind of thing seriously. And that would help to resolve a lot of this, too. And we can actually open up space, too, if we remove a lot of the Planned Parenthood abortuaries out of the urban area. Let's see. I respect a veteran's right to kneel over a regular citizen. Hey, man. Hey, but the veteran could say, look, but that's why I went. Not so that you could not with that particular thing, like I want you to kneel, but to say that you have the freedom to protest. And people may not like what you're protesting. They may not like the message. They may not like the tactics of what you're using. And that's all debatable stuff. And that's what kind of bothers me about the debate on the left, where they treat it like if you're opposed to the idea of kneeling, then you're just automatically opposed to the idea of like criminal justice reform and stuff. I mean, give me a break, dude. I've been talking about that for a long time. I'm like, I know so many people who've talked to me and told me, you don't care about any of this. And I'm like, I've written articles that resulted in state police having to do investigations of the police force. I've done investigations and I've published investigations that have resulted in really bad cops getting let go, bad detectives being let go. And that didn't win me any points, by the way, with some of the Blue Lives Matter people. That's true. And I think it's one of those things that's a balance, man. I think it's a balance. Cherie says, my rights as a woman aren't as important to me as protecting children from the womb on. My body is designed to forget their pains of childbirth, but not the horror of abortion. See, the leftist makes an idol out of sexual pleasure. From this disorder, the obscenity of abortion becomes distorted. I agree with that, by the way. I agree with that. It's about the idols, man. And they idolize this. And the homily on Sunday was awesome, right? Father Ron is a really awesome guy. Really amazing homilies. Him and Father Sirico. Amazing homilies. And he was talking about how sometimes people, if they're dealing with pornography, for example, that they may say, well, I want to stop. And the way I'm going to stop is maybe subscribe to Covenant Eyes or go to Fortify. It was at fortify.com to go to Fortify or anything like that, and try to keep my phone away from the bedroom, or, you know, put on the Freedom app, you know, where you can stop that stuff from being on there. And they try to do that, and he says that's all good, but it is all, especially for accountability, but it is also very surface. And you're not getting to the core of why is this happening. These are all bad fruit. But at the root of this is something poisonous. There's some kind of spiritual malady that's taking place. And in all likelihood, it's idolatry. And you have to be able to root that out. You have to be able to root it out. You need the doctors of the church. Let's see. I can appreciate the guy in the white lab coat. At least he worships something, even if tragically flawed. Believing in nothing equates to tolerance of Satan. So many people believe in nothing. Dude, powerful point. Let's see here. The question seems to be, are these infidels our brethren per fratelli tutti, or are they enemies? Gospel do not think that I came to send peace upon the earth. I came not to send peace, but the sword. I agree with that. I'm one of those guys. I emphasize that because I feel like there's a lack of emphasis, right, on certain things. Or they, again, going back to my buddy, saying there's a huge priority on one side of the equation and not recognizing maybe the other. And the other in this situation, yes, he did not come to bring peace but a sword. And yet, on the other hand, his expansion is one of peace. Okay, his kingdom, in fact, is one that through its expansion, and in fact, its conquest, is one of peace. And people would say, well, you just said conquest, and you used the word dominion earlier. And I'd say, yes, yeah. But I talk about means and mechanisms. What's the means to an end? And I emphasize the things that are personal. You emphasize family. You emphasize the heart. You emphasize your soul. Where are you? You know, have you taken a knee for Jesus? Do you try to live peaceably? Or are you a raging lunatic going around and threatening to kill people? You know, the world doesn't need more jihadis. It needs more crusaders who are taking a knee and have a sword. But ultimately, their goal is not that peace. And in fact, to live as at peace with your neighbor as you possibly can. The nuance there is on as much as you possibly can. Yeah. Let's see. Sheree says, well written. We must run politics through the grid of the Bible. And for me, I look at it and say, yes, the Bible provides blueprints for us, right? And that's why I say I believe in Catholic social teaching. I believe it has the mix-ins that make for great social theory. And we need social theory, you know, because social theory is something that would apply to everybody. It has things to say for everybody, no matter where you are, if you're a Christian or not. And I know so many people, and this is something I wrote about a long time ago. I know so many people that study Catholic social teaching, and maybe they're distributists or solitarists or integralists or whatever. And so many times their theory is something that really only makes sense and is only interesting in any way to people who are robustly Catholic. And I don't buy that. That's why this show, for all intents and purposes, is ecumenical. There are people, I don't know if you guys are comfortable saying what religious affiliation or non-affiliation you're involved with. We have people who tune in who I know for a fact are atheists. I know it because they're my friends. I've talked to them. Or they're people I'm at least familiar with. You know, but to say, where do you come from? What's your religious paradigm? And does your paradigm have a social theory? Is it optimistic or is it pessimistic? Does it have that meaningful trajectory, or is it shining the brass on a sinking ship? Let's see here. We must teach our children that they are princesses and princes of the true king and teach them to value themselves as such. That's a huge task, by the way. It's a huge task, by the way. And I should talk more about that. I want to do it, though, on videos that are not live like this. CF says, I worry it calls for compromise. The devil is fine with us compromising with his servants. Jesus calls us to convert the lost, not play patty cake with them. I agree with that. I'm also incremental, though. I've seen a lot of people in my life who you can say, like, take an example and you say, well, this is going to limit the number of abortions. And this is a real example. You say this policy, and we have support of it, this policy would seem to limit abortion. And another person goes, yeah, but abortion is murder. It's a genocide. We need it all the way gone. We can't compromise because that's playing into the hands of the murderous people that are supporting abortion. And you sit there and say, okay, so I'll let that blood be on you then. I'll let that blood be on you. Because, it's easy to see, and I talk about this, that sometimes we see that the left makes huge advances. But I have that's in the moment. So like I'll say, for example, that the left, we've seen for years and years and years when they lie to us, and you have these authoritarian policies and laws that are put in place, and these new principles that are being infused into schools and everything else, that you see that it's pushing in a certain direction more and 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 more. But on a grand scheme, if we take a big map, if we make the last 2,000 years a huge honking calendar, those are like not even close to baby steps. Those are like baby steps, man. And if we look at it, we can see other times where that's happened. And if we take the big picture of it relative to scale within the big picture, right, with a view of the end and where are we going and all of this stuff, and how do we get there and who's in control, who's at the helm and on the throne, what are the assurances that we have, and what's the trajectory that we can look back to say that right there has gone through some pretty wicked stuff, that the person living through that would be able to say the exact same thing that I said. But at the end of it, we can see that that was still a trajectory, and that we still got bigger and bigger and bigger, and that his kingdom expanded without end. It's ever expanding. It's ever expanding. It's like the cross and the resurrection was a big bang in the spiritual world and in the social world. And it just, boom, and exploded. Went in every direction. And we're seeing it right now. We're seeing the interaction of the leaven with the loaf is what we're seeing. Let's see here. Jeremiah, can you give us a book reading list? Yes, that'd be really great. In fact, I'll do that. And look, guys, I know I say this a lot. I actually promise, man, I'm serious, guys. Paleocratdiaries.com today, okay? I'll put together a reading list. In fact, I've got a couple of them. I just have to type them out. And so I've got them, books that you can read about, like what has informed my social theory? What has informed my theology and my apologetic? What has informed my view of culture? And I'll put those together. And I'll even include not just book lists, but also really good channels of people they're deep. You might be surprised. I'm not watching a lot of shows that are no offense. I mean, they're probably great guys, but it's kind of kiddie pool stuff, And yes, both fiction and nonfiction, totally. Yeah, in fact, I'm glad you brought that up, talking about the book suggestion, fiction and nonfiction, because I used to be the kind of guy that only read nonfiction. That was it. And I had a good buddy of mine. This is back during the Zanga days. He wrote a post about me, and he was critical of me because I'd gone off the deep end, man. I'd gone off the deep end. I went into the world of sedevacantism. I'm not going to get into it here. But other people can deal with that. But the thing is that when I did that, he said one of the things that one of his criticisms about me and why he believed I was susceptible, in fact, to extremism and enthusiasm. And one of the reasons why my social theory was inadequate was because I had no place whatsoever for fiction. And I have come over the years to accept that as true. And it has had a dramatic impact, not only on my personal life, right? I love reading, especially classics. I still, people say, yeah, but that's not modern fiction. I say, I read some modern fiction too. I read some modern fiction. I've talked to people about books they should read, right? Just for fun, right? Not really informing my social theory, just for fun. But I really enjoy reading the classics because I enjoy reading poetry. I enjoy reading play script. I enjoy reading all of that stuff. So yes, man, totally. We'll go ahead and do that. All right, moving on, guys. Moving on. I'm not going to throw that guy under the bus today. Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm going to do it, man. I'm really sorry, man. Sorry about that, buddy. You brought it on yourself, to be quite frank. You did. Yesterday, talking about COVID, and we had a guy comment And he goes, out of every 100,000 count of individual Americans, 75 individuals have died. And you're working to increase the death count by spreading false and misleading propaganda. Should be walled off from the rest of us and denied the use of any of our hospitals. What a weirdo. What a weirdo, dude. Okay. Enough fun and play. Here's what I wrote back, okay? Here's what I wrote back, because you guys got to understand. I normally don't dedicate this much space to writing back to somebody, but this guy actually goes way back. This guy goes way back. I think he used to actually call, if it's the same guy, and I'm assuming it might be, I used to call my show when I was on Paleo Radio, on AM/FM. But I wrote, I'm spreading false and misleading propaganda in an effort to increase the death count. Dang, dude, you're a raging lunatic. Seriously, that crystal ball you got from a cereal box ain't doing so hot. And look, I know that that's a little bit, the jab. Doing a little bit of the old Harley har knee slapping jab. Doing that. But the truth is, I can't take that too seriously. The guy's saying that I'm putting out false and misleading propaganda in an effort. In other words, that I'm trying. That I'm working hard to increase the death count. Really? That's weird. That's weird, dude. What do you think? Number one, you don't know me, bro. And why? Do you know my heart? What is it? Magic crystal ball crap, dude? Got it out of a Cracker Jacks box, son. Do better. And his logic sucks, by the way. First of all, even if every death were rightfully attributed to the Rona, and it's not, as only about 6% of the COVID deaths are attributed solely to COVID, whereas the majority of the remaining 94 involve an average of 2 to 3 underlying conditions. Even so, you'd still be around 0.08. Even if we took the number that I shared recently at 0.13. Even if we took that number, I would say first of all, I predicted that. That's the first thing. I predicted that within a couple weeks of my even learning about this. Predicted it. Almost sort of makes sense, though, when you keep that in mind, that the frontliners, and do you guys remember this, by the way? When all the frontliners, they were rocking TikTok videos. You remember that? You remember all those highly coordinated and choreographed TikTok videos inside of those hospitals that were, I don't know, empty? Doesn't that say something, by the way? Oh, you guys are really in a rough spot. You guys are overwhelmed. It's a war zone. Oh, you're looking at it. Dude, it's empty. Your hospitals are so empty that even the ones that you were like, oh, we're going to be overwhelmed and we need to have all these other tents and way stations and stop stations to pop up. And you were telling Trump, oh, Trump, you're going to need to, put together those military boats. You need to send those out here. You need to send out the military boats so that they can come out on the east and the west coast and they can come out and help. And in the end of the day, them buggers had to leave. Why? Because ain't nobody showing up. Nobody's showing up. And we know that because the frontliners, and I'm not saying it never happened. I'm not saying that there was never anybody who died. I'm not saying that it's a hoax. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But at the same time, to sit there and say, if you're saying that you are under extraordinary circumstances and that you are overwhelmed and that it is a war zone and you are a frontline hero and all of this stuff and all the propaganda being shoved in our faces about that. And then we go and we look, we're told you can't go in the hospital. You're told that you can't go unless it's urgent. And, even in some countries, like, what is it, Spain? They ended up tasing this chick who brought her mom. She had a mental breakdown, brought her to a psychologist, her psychologist, who then called the police on them because they showed up without an appointment. That's what happens when you have a mental breakdown. Called the police. And what do the police do? They tase her. And you do all of that. And you're claiming, that you're in this crazy world like that. And then you go on and you're doing, twerking. And you're twerking it up on TikTok. It's kind of hard to believe that crap. Sorry to tell you. What about, the hospitals are like ghost towns. Or how about the fact that Johns Hopkins had to hide the counter narrative? Right? The conclusions of that study concerning COVID's relative statistical insignificance on the overall death stats and rates in the U.S. We talked about it yesterday. So they published in there remarkably remarkably, it doesn't seem to have really had an impact on death in the United States. Oh, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, isn't it? I thought we were like in apocalypse now. I thought that's what was going on. Or how about the fact that the CDC now admits to mysteriously low flu stats for 2020? Now they assure us, oh, hey guys, it's going to get pretty bad. It's going to get pretty bad. Believe me, it's going to get really rough. It could. They didn't say it will. They said it still could. But it's a mysterious thing. They're baffled. How is that? How is it the case that we have these extremely low flu stats? Not a little bit low. We're talking really soup dupe low. Really low. I said, second of all, I've been saying for months what Dr. Fauci and company is only now admitting to being true concerning kids and corona. And I base this position, I mentioned this yesterday when talking about our experience in the maternity ward at the hospital. But I said I based my position on studies that were done by Harvard in some of the top children's hospitals in the USA, as well as the literature and opinions of professionals in the AAP. I mean, I'm pretty strict about this, by the way. I'm pretty strict about this. And don't I give you guys, by the way, don't I give you citations? Don't I provide? Well, I go to the links themselves. I show you. I show you the links themselves. I said, third, I'm unsurprised by your choosing not to pinpoint a single false or misleading claim uttered on the show. I'm unsurprised because the truth is you ain't got nothing. Unlike others on the right, and I could say unlike many others, I take science pretty seriously. And I'm pretty strict about attribution. Fourth, and maybe finally, if you wish to wall yourself off from us, then stay inside your home. If that's what you want, if you're like, we got to wall ourselves off, it's easy, man. It's called your front door. Stay inside. If that's what you believe, stay inside, dude. There's a lot of other people with that kind of thing going on. They're afraid to go outside because there's sickness out there. The monster. All the people. It's not new, dude. It is a mental illness, though. It is an actual thing that you may want to get checked out. I mean, heck, dude, in all honesty, I don't care if you walk around in a freaking bubble. In fact, if you walk around in a bubble, send us a video of it, and we'll go ahead and we will show it during the funny parts of our show. I'm not even joking. We'll show it. Because the thing is, if you're going to walk around in a bubble, or like those weirdos wearing the clothing hampers, wrapped with some, plastic wrap, some bubble wrap, you're going to get made fun of on the show. And in fact, you're going to get made fun of in history. People are going to look at you and be like, dude, this guy, there's a lot going on in there. There's a lot going on inside. But if you want to pretend that, quote, any old mask will do, that is some snake oil BS. That is phony. That's phony baloney, dude. And you ain't going to get away with that. And I look, the easiest way to get this out there, and I've said this before, is to say, look, I think that this was a really great mask that Lana Del Rey wore when she had the mask that had huge holes in it. It was decorative. That was it. It was decorative. And she wore it and all of her fans were freaking out. But you got to control that conversation. That's an initiation. It's a crisis initiation for a lot of people. They're going to freak out. I can't believe it. What are you doing? You're telling people it's okay to walk around without a mask. It doesn't matter what you can use your sweatshirt. Anything will do, just not that. And not the python mask. Or the boa constrictor mask, python. The rattlesnake mask. The mask of the rattlesnake. But people say that you can't wear those masks with the big holes in it. And you go, why? And they say, because those holes are real big. And you go, well, I'm really glad that we're talking about how big that is, because we need to talk about relative size and scale. Do you know much about the size of the pores in the medical mask that you bought a big box of? And do you know the size of the virus itself? Do you know how it travels? And what's the likelihood that, and not only that, what would be necessary? So even if it was like kind of helpful, what would be necessary to not touch it? Should it be fitted? What if there's spaces and gaps? These are all serious questions. But to pretend that that's not a real consideration or a real debate to be had, to pretend that, you're just lying to yourself. You're lying to other people. In fact, that right there is propaganda. And according to some studies, in fact, the Danish study, that might actually be propaganda that leads to increased death. So take it and shove it, son. Take it and shove it. But to use the fourth worst flu epidemic in U.S. history as a precedent or a warrant to segregate us from society, to segregate us. It's a constitutional dead end, by the way. Constitutional dead end, same thing with the fanatical threat to bar us from hospitals. Sorry, champ, but you sound like a freaking jihadi. You do. You sound like some saber rattling crazy. Blah, 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 durka crap. Strapping crap to your chest, man. The heck, dude? What the heck? And this right here, man, this is one of those things where it's like, dude, this is how bad it is. Why you should wear face masks. Let me try and make it simple for you. And here's what one of them, in fact, I think it's the same guy. The urine test. If we all run around naked and someone pees on you, you get wet right away. If you are wearing pants, some pee will get through, but not as much. So you're better protected. If the guy who pees also is wearing pants, the pee stays with him and you don't get wet. That is the lie. Number three, the idea that if you're wearing a mask with pores that are significantly larger than the virus, the idea that if you wear that mask, that somehow magically, all of a sudden, guess what? All of a sudden, you're not going to be spreading that virus. Totally phony, baloney, fake news. Phony baloney. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to skip ahead because we're running out of time. And I have some things I want to show you. All right, discrimination and prejudice. I said I want to talk about this. I mean, that's a lot of green. That's a lot of green. Okay, all right. You know what? We are going to... Should I talk about it today? I don't know, man. I don't know, you know... I'll trim it down because the whole thing is green. I'm not going to read the entire thing. I don't want to read the entire thing. So we're actually just going to just simply go right over that. We're going to go right over that, man. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about this, man. I'm going to keep it pretty basic, man. Today's been a different kind of show. And I apologize for the deviation, right, from the norm. Normally it's maybe a little bit more intense. It's not so laid back. This is kind of more like an unlisted video. I apologize for that. No, I don't. I'm so sorry. What am I saying? I don't apologize to you guys for that. I'm glad you're watching, man. I hope you like it. I hope that you know, man, it's not just the same repeat thing over and over and over every day. And that these truly are my diaries. I hope you get that, man. I hope you get that and yet you love it. I know you do. I know you do. Right here. The same feeling of not belonging, of futility wherever I go. I pretend interest in what matters nothing to me. I bestir myself mechanically or out of charity without ever being caught up, without ever being somewhere. What attracts me is elsewhere, and I don't know where that elsewhere is. I read this yesterday. I read it yesterday. I thought about it. I said, you know, I relate to that, by the way. You know, I try really hard. I bestir myself mechanically or out of charity. But I try to say, I need to be caught up sometimes in this moment. Even when I do Wim Hof, my brain is going in every which direction. And it's like, you know, you're supposed to kind of be in the moment. And it's hard for me. My brain is slipping and sliding, veering in a bazillion different directions. But it's because what attracts me is somewhere else. And I've had to settle on what is this? What am I interested in? And even if that does, how can I make it so that I'm centered again, so that I'm in this place, in this moment? Because a lot of times it happens even when I'm talking to people. I think you know, it's a common thing where people will be talking and they're not really listening. They're really thinking about what they want to say next because that's where their interest is. What attracts them is what they're thinking about next. And not listening and allowing that person to engage with that person, to encounter that person, in fact, to use a phrase that I typically don't like, but it's true, to actually encounter that person. in a meaningful, profound way. And it's something that I think we should work on. I know I need to work on this. You know, in fact, today I'm going to work on making a video of the speech that I did. I want to spruce it up too. I want to do the book review. Okay? I want to do that. And I want to put, or not book review, the book list, the reading list. Okay? And I also want to begin doing things that have to do with working out and stuff. You know, and I want to put something together, even just to let people know, what is it that I did? What is it that I did? What am I going to do tomorrow? And put together a plan. That way you guys can be part of it with me. I've said we're doing a jihad on fat. I've not been doing well with that. It's because of Thanksgiving a little bit. It's because of Thanksgiving a little eatsies. You know, but to sit there and say, I need to really focus and hone in. And part of it is one of the reasons I'm really glad that I'm actually putting my phone away and re-emphasizing time and saying, man, I've got a limited time. I remember death. I got to remember time. How much time am I wasting? Is this really a valuable use of it? Even insofar as leisure is concerned or entertainment is concerned, am I idolizing amusement? Am I LARPing with my idea that I'm traditional by simply, being traditional all the while completely taken away by every women fancy of technocratic modernism? What is it? To get back to those roots, man, to find yourself rooted. Let me see here. You know, I'm simply just gonna. Okay, this is what I'll do. I'm gonna end off here. I'm gonna end off. Because we didn't really talk. We talked a little bit about election stuff, but I want you to see this. I want you to see what these guys said, and then we're gonna sign out, guys. We're gonna sign out for the day. Okay, so I'm throwing this in. It's a cherry on top of everything. Okay, it's a cherry on top. And it kind of is a resolution within me to say, look, this is resolved, right? There was great tension. There was great tension, and it needed to be resolved. Like a song. Every single episode is like a beautifully constructed song. It begins with a bang. It's got tension. It's got resolve. Oh, man. And we're coming down to the end. And so I want to make sure that before we go, that you guys see a couple of the things that to me really, really stood out from yesterday. Okay, was this yesterday, the hearings, or was this the day before? I believe it was yesterday. Let me see if I can get it bigger. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and zone out here. And then when we coming back with a bang, because it's going to be the end of the show. I'm really grateful for all of you. Make sure you share it. And make sure, look, I'm being serious about this, guys. I think you're going to be really surprised by the decisions we've made concerning the website, including the store. I think you're going to be surprised. I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to have a really great time, and you're going to see, you're going to have something to go to on a regular basis, because we've fixed it up. We've said, okay, we want to make it. Am I going to post the videos every day? Maybe, and if I do, it's going to be within a journal-styled format, including handwritten things, including pictures of my kids and videos of what my kids are learning in school, and games that we're playing at home, and things that we're fixing up to make our lives more orderly and structured. Because it's not all about politics. Life isn't just simply pulling levers of power and ensuring that you're the one holding on to them. It's not what this is all about. And so I want to cut to the heart of it. And I really want that to robustly reflect the idea that this is about it being a diary, something personal, as much as it is professional. Because that's how I think that we are going to be able to connect in a way that's really meaningful. I don't want to be, and it's the last thing I'll say about it, I don't want to be like Tucker Carlson. Like, I know Tucker, and maybe that's a bad example. I don't want to be like a lot of these people who, they get on and they do their thing, and it's like they're a megaphone. That's important. That's important, but as a lot of people just kind of hanging around, might give some people ideas to go out and do stuff, but it doesn't really harness that and say, how do you make that personal? Other than just downloading info to the brain, how do you make that personal? How do you tap in to that connection that's necessary in order to say, let's form a meaningful alliance? What are our core values and what is our mission? What are we destined to do? I want that on a telephone pole in the middle of the street. I want to be the guy walking around with a megaphone, meeting people face to face, shaking people's hands, hugging them and sitting down, drinking beer, talking about what are we going to do to make America great? What are we going to do to honor Christ the King? What are we going to do to make our lives better, to get physically fit and stop being fat slobs? What are we going to do? We would all be better off. I'm sorry to say this. We'd all be better off if we weren't fat, lazy slobs, wasting our time scrolling online. That's just a fact. And I'm sorry that I'm saying it that harshly, but I'm saying it myself because I'm looking in the mirror and seeing it. And I'm saying, dude, I know I'm not alone. We can do this, guys. We can do this. We can set up men's groups. I've talked about that earlier. We can do that. We should do a men's group, man, where we talk about the issues we're dealing with. Maybe have a husband and wife group or whatever. But connect with each other in meaningful ways, forming alliances, being friends for the rest of our days. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm about. And so I really, really hope you just go. You know, if you're watching online right now, just go. Just subscribe to it. Subscribe at paleocratdiaries.com. It's easy. It's right there at the bottom. And you can see the services page. That's for speeches. If you say, man, dude, Jeremiah, you're a pretty dope guy. You're a pretty dope guy. I love your speeches at the rallies. I'd love to have you speak at this convention. I'd love to do a panel discussion with you. Or I'd love to interview you. It doesn't have to be for video. If you want to interview even for the written word and stuff, I'm completely down with that. And all that stuff can be found, and you can connect with us. All that information is available at paleocratdiaries.com. All right, so here's the end. We're going to play these two clips. I think one's 1 minute, and one might be 2 minutes. We're going to see. And here we go.
It was Mr. Krebs? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. He stated the most secure election in history. He stated we're not connected to the internet. He stated no votes leave this country. This is all things he's stated publicly.
So on the CISA website, correct?
Right. So are you willing to say under oath that you have seen the connection to the internet? You have seen it go offshore to Germany, Frankfurt. Are these things that you have personally seen and can say that is not true?
Our white hat hackers, yes, they have that traffic in the packets.
So why would he, do you think?
Either not knowing, believing the myth, or not wanting the truth to be known.
Thank you.
Senator Borelli.
If you could just tell us in your, in the simplest way possible as an expert, what is your opinion as to the validity of the numbers that were certified today by the Secretary of State and the governor about this election?
If I was an executive at a publicly traded company, I would never sign that because I risk jail time and having all my money taken from me in lawsuits. So to answer your question, I would never, ever have certified. I'd rather resign than have certified those results.
So your professional opinion is that the numbers are fraudulent?
I believe they're fraudulent based on the data. And my sister asked me a simple question this morning. She goes, how sure are you? And my sister's a pretty stubborn person like me. And I said, I'd be willing to put my life on it. I'm that sure about the analysis, assuming that the data that I got from the state and everything else was accurate. So, if you're giving me all inaccurate data from everywhere, then, that's my only caveat.
Speaking of a place that's not going to give you inaccurate data, Paleocrat Diaries. That's our promise to you. We ain't going to lead you astray, folks. We're here for the Johnny Q's and the Sally Sues. Flyover country. The people who've been marginalized and maligned. We're here every single weekday, 10-ish to 1-ish. All right, paleocratdiaries.com. You got to go right now. Do not wait. Do not wait 1 second. Go right now. Open up your tab right now. Don't be a lazy piece of crap. You got to do it. Because we're going to be giving you a whole bunch every single day. It's going to be dope. Make sure if you want to do interviews, speeches, any other inquiry, anything at all, debates, doesn't matter, hit me up, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Subscribe to Paleo Cheese and Meaning of Catholic, and until next time, you gotta remember, we have 3 mottos, real simple, every single day. It is this: never give up, keep on smiling, and memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.